I'm pretty sure she has the ability to cast Blizzard, but I think that's about it. Lady Vispera is so annoying, extremely long range, high damage, splash damage, spins tail around. Yeah, that's right, yeah. So the question is, how can we make this fight interesting? Much more interesting instead of just being fucking annoying. There's a difference between being annoying and being an interesting fight. Lady Vespera. I'm just gonna type in real quick. I just want to. I have no idea because I've never leveled in Darkshore. I just want to know what she fucking actually does. Sorry, that's just my camera, like, sort of bugging out a little bit. Okay, what the fuck does she do? What does Lady Vespera actually do? Abilities. Forked Lightning. Knockdown. Shooting. Forked Lightning. Whoa. Can't we take that into consideration? Instead of just the Frost Warden of Darkshore? Alright, let's just go off by classic WoW. Yeah, Lady Vespera. It literally says... It literally says Forked Lightning. Now, they don't need to add the spell into the game to make that work. They can custom build that spell only specifically for Lady Vespera. So, how can we make this fight interesting then? Because this is technically, like I said, a hard boss. That means my vision of a hard boss is literally fighting the boss and having the boss do mechanics. We can go the easy route and sure, once she gets down to 50%, Fork Lightning. But I don't think that should be the case. I reckon what it should be... Forked Lightning. I'm just trying to look... Cause here's the thing, I need to look at their map. I need to see how the way they built it, and I need to sort of look at what could be a function that we can use that they already have. Mind you, the minions, I think, like, so Darkshore, like, what minions are roughly in Darkshore? Obviously, I'm pretty sure Darkshore minions, wow. I'm pretty sure they're all Murlocs, right? You have a few faceless ones, Darkshore minions in WoW. You have Void Walkers. I'm pretty sure Murlocs. Darkshore Murlocs. Murlocs, so is a Grey Mist tribe. So they can just use Murlocs. Murlocs and maybe like a few other units. So let's just say the minis that you're only ever gonna fight and encounter. Murlocs. What else could they use? Trying to think what else they can use. Here's the thing, like, the water elementals were in the other boss fight, and I'm pretty sure they're not in the game. Like, so they could technically, if, you know, if, like, really, they could literally do it themselves. Like, have some faceless ones and shit like that. I'm pretty sure it won't be hard to add just extra units that just right-click everything, you know, that don't really have a gimmick to them. Let's just say these are the only things you're ever going to fucking encounter. And let's just say the boss is just going to be slightly difficult. Forked Lightning. So Lady Vespera should naturally... Forked Lightning should have a natural resistance to magic. So you can't just fucking like spam spells on her. Abilities. So Forked Lightning. So we have the AoE Tail Lash. Then we got the Shadow Bolt, I guess. Shadow Bolt AoE. So, how can we make this fight much more interesting? Let's have a think. With the current map that it is. What would be considered fun and what would be considered... I think the minions should already be on the map. Then you go fight through minions to get to the boss. She aggroes for the first time and AoE tail lashes. You know, like wiping out all your minis. So it's like a shock, like bang, there goes all your minis. Now there's no more minis coming out, no enemy minis coming out. It's literally only just, it's just her. It's just her there on the field. We have 2 summoning stones, right? Let's say she gets to 75%. She summons Voidwalkers to tank minis, while she uses AoE Shadow Bolt. The 2 Voidwalkers start wandering down to destroy your barracks, right? Those minis are now there. Let's say you beat the minis. They've taken these summoning stones over. You beat the minis and all that. She continues to use like Shadow Bolt like every, you know, every 5 to 7 seconds. But range is only to the steps before the summoning stone. So now you get back to her. Let's say she gets down to 35%, right? Because now you're just wailing on her. She's doing her AoEs. You're fighting her. Now she gets to 35%. She Fork Lightnings. Fork Lightning. Skies turn dark. Chain Lightning will hit randomly on spots on the map. Let's do that, and that's the final 35% of the fight. So Fork Lightning, you know, it's pretty much like, you know, I'll say like a frontal clear of minis. But resistance units, resistant minis. You know, I guess defy 50% of it. So it encourages you to use like you know resistance minis and shit like that. At 35%, Fork Lightning, bang, there goes your minis. She turns the sky dark, and Chain Lightning will hit randomly on spots on the map. You're all around her. You know, but these could be very small, like very small AoE sized Chain Lightning that have a clear indicator on where it's going to strike. Now you've sort of made this fight much more interesting, you know? Now you've made this fight interesting. So where I got this idea for the Voidwalkers is literally the Hezrul Bloodmark fight. Like literally, it's like the Hezrul Bloodmark fight. Here's the thing, like I keep saying, I'm always going to keep saying this. What makes this boss... The question is, why is the boss a hard boss? Why is it a hard boss? You're fighting for more gold, and it's meant to be a hard mission. So every time I think about a hard mission, there needs to be mechanics. There literally needs to be mechanics. You know what I mean? So, just quickly, let's go to, where was it? Where was he? Hezral Bloodmark. This is a really cool fight. And the reason why I like this fight so much, because there is a race against time. Technically, there's a race against time. Once you've aggroed Hezral, there's a race against time. If you have not set it up properly, you're gonna die. But there's chances for you to actually get through. Look at this. The mobs are there. The mobs are there. This is what I like seeing when it comes to fights in this game. The mobs are just already there. You fight through the mobs. No, let's just try and fight through the mobs, I guess. Do that. So just imagine in your head the Lady Vespera fight, you know? Because they're on the right track with PvE, but it can just be a lot better. It can be 100 times better. Especially, because here's the thing, especially if we have to do these as dailies. You know? If we have to do these as dailies, it becomes such a chore, and it's so fucking boring. And sometimes it becomes unfair, too, depending on what minis get selected for the boss fight that you've already beaten, and it could be much worse than before. You know what I mean? So we need to figure out how to make this game much more engaging for PvE for the last 5% of it, and I think it's literally just changing a few fights on how the way they work. And if the only fights that need to change is the hard mode bosses, then that's all they need to do. Jesus Christ, trying to redo this all again at this level is fucking tragic. It's so tragic. Oh my god, I'm taking a million years to actually fucking beat him. I can't like I said, I can't imagine this on hard mode. If it's just talents, if these guys all have talents, I think we're sort of fucked. I think it's gonna be much more difficult than ever before. Like really overtuned. Oh my god, what are you doing? Walk, 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 walk. I'm gonna keep adding more healers, to be honest. I'm not gonna add more tanks. I think we should be okay if I got the healers. Can I get them all? No. Sort of. The addition to the Abomination Hook is fantastic too, by the way. Because before no one was really playing Abomination, and now that they added the hook, he's great at like just tanking, frontlining, and destroying the backline at the same time. Well, backline as in ranged. So that's the real cool benefit. Let's just add more of this. All right, let's just soften up some of these dudes. Soften them up because I don't want to fight them all. See, now he's gone. We triggered the boss fight. Now we're fighting the boss. And this whole time we're trying to like just literally beat the fuck out of the boss as much as we can before we die. Let's get our gold out. Let's try and stop him for a little bit longer. We all know the boss cleaves. There's nothing special to him apart from just cleaving the shit out of mobs. Yep, they're just gonna cycle back. Stay sharp. This this fight specifically becomes like a tower offense into a tower defense, which is pretty cool. I like that. So anyways, we see what this fight is like. You know, Hezral is not a hard boss. Is not tagged as a hard boss, but we have a really special mechanic with him, and it makes these fights fun. You can imagine a new player coming in and losing to Hezral, and seeing that he actually says, "Oh shit! Once I've killed the last one, it triggers the boss to actually come down and beat the shit out of me." So now it's a race against time, which is the same. The same boss that does that is also is Gish. Gish does the same thing. You activate the boss 50%, flies right down. Baron, hard mission. Is Baron really a hard mission? I don't think so. Because The skeletons are just... So the only special gimmick about Baron, once you've killed about, I think it's 12... Yeah, 12. Once you've killed 12 minions, they turn into skeletons. The skeletons start marching up mid, they get summoned in the middle, and they charge up mid, which you can't go down with your own minis unless you're using Unbound. Or you support them with spells, and then they start attacking the tower that's in front of them, which now gives you an avenue to attack the boss. The thing is though, the boss can still summon minions and send them down mid against you. Does that make it a hard mission? Not really. Like, that's very manageable. If anything, Baron was one of the easier... Even last year, Baron was the easier one. I was stuck on Gish and Ramstein. I'm pretty sure I beat Tyrion first, and then I beat Baron, and then I went and beat Gish, then Araj the Summoner, and then it was Ramstein. Like, that was the order of difficulty last year. This time around, I think I still beat Tyrion first, because Tyrion's the easiest fight. Gish is like fucking really hard, but like I feel like Gish was much more stronger than like Baron. But yeah, that's so much better. Looks similar to WoW. Clear the trash mobs and focus on the boss, which has unique mechanics. More mobs can spawn on the boss HP percentage. Feels more engaging. Exactly. What I don't like about a lot of these boss fights are literally the fact that they're playing like a human. Like, they're playing like another human player by summoning minis just like you and summoning spells just like you. I don't think they should be doing that. I honestly don't think, like, not every one of them, to be honest. Maybe some of them do, maybe some of them don't. But, say, Renee Wolfrunner. So imagine if we took Lunaclaw's shit, because, you know, Renee Wolfrunner is sort of like Priestess of the Moon. You know, Renee could use Starfall and do the exact same thing. Let's say phase 2, let's just say Renee Wolfrunner just uses the, you know, uses Starfall and shit. I would literally get rid of the minis for this fight. I'll literally get rid of them, the minis. And I'll make this fight, just give Renee much more bigger HP pool, and put more phases to her. Put more phases to Renee Wolfrunner. Because I'll give you an example of how to do that. The enemies at the mid summon bombard units like the enemies at the mid that summon bombard units like Flamewalker or Farmer that kills all the skeletons. So while the mechanics serves no purpose to distract for a while. Yeah, it's just a distraction. That's not what makes it, and that's the thing. Baron's not a hard fight. It's definitely a fucking distraction. I can see an ad coming up, so I'll talk about this. So I'll just quickly write up what this fight could actually be. You know. So right now we're talking about hard missions. Okay, let's have a look. Remove all minis. So, now that we're back from the ad, this is what I'm thinking to make the Renee Wolfrunner fight much more engaging. Because remember, this, like I keep saying, I'm always going to highlight it. These are hard missions. I would rather these hard missions be solely focused on fighting the hero or fighting the boss. I don't want to be fighting minions all the time because it fucking gets tedious. Renee Wolfrunner. Remove all the minis. Have the boss completely stealth in the middle of the map, or at 1/3 of the map, and you know, then you have like 3 barrackses. Let's say you get given 3 barrackses. Lose condition. Lose all 3 barrackses. If you lose all 3, you're dead. There is no way to, you know, like it's just very simple. You lose. That's it. So how does this boss fight work? Let's say phase 1. Starts off stealth and releases a Starfire, Starfall to wipe the board. Renee taunts the player and the fight begins. So you choose where to summon, like you're trying to draw her attention. Renee's abilities can be a frontal current of arrows, right? A frontal current of arrows. So this is gonna, what this will do, having a frontal current of arrows as an attack will just, you know, it would force you to use all 3 barracks as spawn points. Spawn mobs here, spawn mobs down there, spawn mobs up here. You want to keep surrounding it, right? Frontal current of arrows. And here's the thing too, like, we'll get to the part on how the way you can lose your barracks is and all. I'm still processing through my head. I'm literally making this up as we go. Frontal current of arrows. What's the other abilities that Priestess of the Moon has? The reason why I want to draw all this from Warcraft 3 is because a lot of people that will be playing this game do look at this for nostalgia, and you have like this unique way to introduce Warcraft to the players that people might not already know, like especially the new kids coming along. Scout. Ooh. Here we go. This is what we can do. If you guys remember Scout, it's literally temporarily summons an out scout which can be used to scout the map. So what we can do is this. So let's just say she uses Scout. Summons an owl to search for your barracks. So search for, yeah. Search for one of your barracks. If the owl reaches your barracks, it summons 3 to 4 huntresses. Right? And that's going to happen all game. So Searing Arrows was the auto cast, but we're just going to change it to a frontal cone of arrows. Like, let's just say, we'll just call it Searing Arrows still. Because plural. You know, frontal cone of arrows. And then, what's the other one? The other one is True Shot Aura. We don't need that shit. We don't need it. We can just have these two. So, already, now there's a threat to your barracks. You know, like, let's talk about from the beginning. Hard missions, how to make them engaging. Renee Wolfrunner. This one here. Right? Let's quickly have a look at what the map looks like, and then I reckon they could just literally remove everything and just have 3 barrackses. Literally. And just have 3 barracks. So the owl wouldn't sort of be RNG. You'll have to fight the owl. You'll have to try and kill it. But the owl will be stealth. The owl will be stealthed. So see, you look at the map. it's not engaged. This bridge fucking sucks all the time. All the huntresses get spawned here. They come down and beat the shit out of you. They literally just beat the living shit out of you. So I'm still taking what their initial plan was for this fight, but just trying to make it interesting. Try and make it better than what it was. You know? Because this is supposed to, like I'll keep saying it, this is supposed to be a hard fight. The only thing that makes this a hard fight, which for some reason it's not here right now, is at the very beginning of the game, there's 3 huntresses that after 3 seconds come down and beat the shit out of you. And if you can't beat all 3 of them at the early part of the game, then it's over. But if you're successful, if you can successfully defend that plus the waves of minis that she spawns, then you're technically good. You can beat her. The thing is though, she also does the Glaives of Wisdom, like that, like glaives. I guess Searing Shot can just be literally changed to like just call it Searing Glaives, I guess. A frontal cone of glaives. Just do that, who cares? Just, is it glaze or I? I can't remember how to spell it. I think it's I. Right? Phase 1 starts with stealth, phase 2, and so that's down to 100% to 90%. That's just to literally get the player in and go, yeah, fuck, yeah, let's go, like, that's it. You decided to disturb my shit. You know, I'm pretty much gonna fuck you up now. So phase 2 summons a stealth owl that seeks out one of your barracks. This will happen every... So this will be happening at 90%. And then again at 60%. So the reason why we need to have these intervals very low and 30%. The reason why we need these intervals very low, because now you don't want to, now you really just don't want to Zerg. You do not want to Zerg Renee. You need to control the fight. So by adding like at 90% summons an owl, so you get 3 owls, and those owls are slowly going to make their way to one of your barracks, you know. It could change every fight, it just depends, it just needs to be randomized which one's going to come out first. So it makes the fight just a little bit more unpredictable. And then, phase 3, at, the last owl is killed. Now we can literally use one more Starfall. And she now enrages to head to the remaining barracks to destroy them while fighting your mobs. Minis, I guess. Now this fight sounds much better. Much, much better. So let's read it and we'll think about it, yeah? Let's look at it. We know, for most of us, we know what this fight is like. But it's labeled as a hard mission. You know, having a boss fight having a boss fight at the end of every zone, have mechanics like sort of like a dungeon mechanic, like like the dungeons so far, and like Onyxia, will prepare you to fight bosses like Oni, right? It trains you to get that. Like when we know we're going up against Oni, we know we're in for a very long fight, especially when we start seeing 6 minutes on the fucking clock and like 2 minutes overtime. So I think it's 2 minutes overtime, I think. So but this is what you want. This is what you want, man. Like, I just don't see why that they can't do this to make it better. Like, to make the game slightly better, to make it much more engaging. You look forward, like, once you beat the four bosses, you're like, for some people, man, that was pretty tough, man. Fuck, what's the hard boss gonna be like? You go into the boss and it's much more engaging, a little bit cinematic, much more engaging. Because once you beat it, you feel, like, once you beat a hard boss, it's the dopamine. The dopamine that flows through your fucking brain and through your blood, it makes you feel good, and it either makes you pause it for that night, or continue on to the next map going, oh man, I wonder what the next hard boss is going to be like, man, fuck, I can't even imagine how fucking hard that boss is going to be like. And that's what you want, man. You want this progression where you feel like you're getting much more powerful every time. You're getting powerful and much more powerful and much more powerful. You want to feel that. You want to feel like you're getting smarter. You don't want to be treated like an idiot in games, especially these days. Like, especially when Onyxia, especially when the Onyxia fight is such a great fight in this game right now. It's such a great fight. And for me, like, towards the end of the stream, I'll go through my top 5 boss fights of what I think like is pretty much the best fights for every lineup, you know, for every hero. It's all gonna be the same for every hero. It comes down to what the bosses are gonna be, what they're gonna be like. I'm not sure if I can actually beat the. Whoops! I just fucking I just blizzard for no reason. Ooh, she got armored anyways. Keep going. Tank it just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. Are they coming out now? Oh, they're not coming out. That could be a bug. That could actually be a bug. Unless it's because I've already beaten the boss before. But I'm pretty sure it should still always come out, the Huntresses. But we'll look carefully into what this boss fight actually looks like. If I can survive. All the way. I technically shouldn't have summoned them. Oh, here we go. Now they're coming out. Fuck, that took a long time. See how the Huntresses are coming out? Please survive. Here's the next one. I think it missed the first timer. See, now they're coming down the hunt and check. Oh, but the first one's missing. The first one's missing. I think I'll survive anyways, maybe, who knows. I think I have to spawn him here unless they get glaive to death. AoE. So right now you don't really see him, but she's throwing glaives and all they're doing is the exact same thing as the Huntresses. I don't need to go into more and shit like that, but that's just so, like, according to the subject at hand, that's all we need to see. So what I want to try and do is use sort of like the same vision of what they had, but make it better and make it much more engaging and not just being a frustrating piece of shit. Let's be honest, some of these maps are very bad in the design. It feels like a random dungeon. Oh, give me 2 bridges, a river, and blah 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 blah, and 3 summoning stones. Bang, and then it just automatically generated. That's what it feels like sometimes. It feels like there's no rhyme and real reason why they put certain things everywhere. So we saw what this fight looks like right now. That is considered a hard mission, and it is hard, and it's hard for its own reason, but it's not engaging. When you fight the boss, it's lackluster. You'll just go, oh man, I'm gonna have to send like the most tankiest motherfucker there and hope for it to survive. See, like I said, look, hard mission. Astronaut's defenses have been bolstered by the Huntress's patrol, joining Silverwing Sentinels. Only you can prevent forest flyers. Astronaut's defenses have been bolstered by Huntress's patrols. So now let's envision what we saw there in the game with the Huntresses coming out of nowhere and start fighting and everything like that. Let's picture what Renee Wolfrunner looks like. Let's just add all this shit to it. Let's just change the map entirely. I wish I had paint. Well, I do have paint, I just don't want to fucking put it on. Or maybe we can, who knows. Hold on, let's see. I'll just give you like a diagram example. It's gonna be like the shittest looking diagram, but let's just fucking add it in. OBS. Let's just add a window capture. Alright. Even everyone's gonna be saying fucking this shit, what the fuck? Fit the screen. Alright. You can still hear me though. So let's just say hypothetically, let's just do this quickly. Let's say one barracks is here, one barracks is here, and the other barracks is here, right? And then this red circle, or blue circle, sorry, is Renee Wolfrunner. Oh fuck, well that one's supposed to be fucking a red square, so or black square, sorry. Let's just say that. And then we go here. Let's change it blue, and that's Renee. So let's just say that's Renee. If it wants to fucking type, maybe. Oh no, it's loading. I love how my PC's struggling to actually run paint. There you go, Renee. That's Renee, these are barracks. So let's go to here. Let's just call it racks. Right, racks. Racks. And this is racks. So that's what I would imagine the boss fight will be like, you know. And this can be divided up into, let's put red. Actually, now let's get a better color. Let's get green. So let's just say, where's the tools? Where's it? Here we go. So let's say these are 4 screens, right? Just make it a little bit difficult. Let's just say these are 4 screens. You know. So screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, screen 4, you know, and that's what it's divided up to, yeah? So you can imagine the fight, just changing the fight to this. I won't save that, but we've already seen it. Okay, now we're back. Now you can see me, I can see you guys. Alright, so, let's say what we just saw, on how the way I would design the map is just make it just basic, just straight up basic. She's in the middle, you got your 3 racks. Now, Renee Wolfrunner, so we've removed all the minis, we have the boss completely stealth in the middle of the map. We have 3 barracks. Top left, top right, bottom mid. Lose condition is losing all 3 barracks. It's very simple. The abilities that she has is Searing Glaives, the frontal cone of glaives. They can probably burn the enemies, who knows, like, you know, because it's nighttime, it's using moonfire or whatever it will be. It's you know, you hit and it slowly burns units. But whatever way she's facing, you sort of, that's why you want to like come at different angles. You want to summon minions at different barracks because you want her to face a different way while you're attacking. You might send a tank one way with a healer, you know, and you send your DPS in from the other ones, from the other barracks. And then literally just, you know, you think the fight is going well. Oh, then we're down to 90%. Oh man, this is pretty quick. Bang! First phase. Renee starts releases a starfall, wipes all the board. All your minis are gone. They're completely dead. You can't do anything now. You can't summon minions for now. She literally, there's sort of like a cutscene, an in-game cutscene, if they can do it. Renee, or sort of everything just sort of pauses, and Renee just goes, blah blah blah, you know, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, you know, Silver Wing Sentinels, you know, attack, or whatever the dialogue can be. Renee taunts the player and the fight begins. She now summons a stealth owl. The stealth owl lingers for maybe 1 or 2 seconds and starts heading in a direction of one of your barracks. And that's stealth, and it's tanky. It acts like a gargoyle siege unit, right? Because now all they really need to do is just change the skin of the gargoyle, and now you got the owl. The owl's going to start seeking out one of your barracks. If you can't kill that owl before it gets to your barracks, it's going to summon like 3 or 4 huntresses, and most likely it will die. Now, would those huntresses come back to kill your other barracks? No. They just stay there. They stay there because there's no point to go there. You just can't use the lane anymore. It just, you know, but if you can defend it, then sure. If you can defend it, then sure, you get to keep your barracks. This happens again at 60%. This happens again at 30%, right? Now, once we get to the third phase, once the last owl is dead or reaches your barracks, one more starfall wipes the board clean. Bang. She now enrages and now starts to head, just like the owl, to your remaining barracks. If you got 1, good fucking luck. You're most likely going to get killed. If you got 2, you have a really good chance that, you know, at surviving. You got 3, even better. And now you're trying to beat the last 30% remaining HP of Renee Wolfrunner, and she attacks quicker. She can go back into stealth. Like she'll probably stealth out of combat. Like, you know, out of combat she'll stealth. You need to re-engage. You need to fight her. And then yeah, you just beat the last 30% remaining, and that becomes the fight. Pog, we do paint now? I know. That's me designing the map. The map is just so fucking simple. You know what I mean? So you can imagine it as an assault, yeah, like on a city, like Astronaut or wherever she's from, right? You can imagine that's the story. Like, we're assaulting her. We just went through all of Ashenvale. We just went through all of Ashenvale. We decimated so many different units and so many different bosses, and now we're assaulting the final boss of that area. Don't you think that this would be better and much more engaging to complete the area, you know? Like, I feel like this is such a better fight than what we got right now with Renee, you know? If we want to go with that route. What I'll do is, I'll do one more example. I'm going to make it much quicker, but I'll have one more example of a hard mission that can be changed, because I believe all of them can be changed, and they can be much more fun. But right now, I think this is where we can start off, right? Let's have a look. Like, which is another boss fight? See, Devil Soul Queen's a unique one, and that's good. They shouldn't change it. That should still be the same. I like that one. Khan Bloodhoof. I'm not sure what to think about it at the moment. Like, he's only tough because he can stun everything. Grom. See, Renee was an easy one because I had much more thought about it. Lady Vespera, we gave a little bit of what Lady Vespera can be like. Like, the map doesn't have to change. We just need to add these things in. You know? We just need to add all this shit. We just need to add phases, add spells, and like that fight can be much better. Who's down here? General Kolbatan. Like, all these fights, it still is such a generic fight. This is such a generic fight. It feels like every other fight, and it's meant to be a hard mission. Baron fight? Alright, let's look at Baron. Yeah, since we talked about Baron, let's look at Baron. Baron Rivendare. Now, I don't remember. Was Baron in Naxxramas as well? Let's look at Baron. So let's do Baron. So, hard mission. Baron Rivendare. How do we fix this fucking fight? Because definitely it does not. It doesn't feel unique. It feels very straightforward. Like Soul Reaver said, the enemies at the in mid, like, it's just 12 skeletons going there just to die. Like, it's not really a mechanic. It's not really a gimmick. It's dog shit. It's shit you don't have to worry about. In most cases, and in most fights, I don't give a shit about what happens to the mid tower. All I want to do is push left and beat the shit out of Baron. That's all I ever want to do every time I get to that fight. Is that a hard? Does that consider it to be a hard mission? I don't think so. I think it's shit. Your troops will rise again as skeletons at the ritual room. Join the cult, they said, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm trying to keep it to what the spirit of the fight is. You know, right now it has to, obviously, to do with summoning skeletons and, you know, reanimating the dead. Let's think about it. Let's go to WoW Wiki. Oops. WoW Wiki. Baron Rivendare. WoW Classic. The reason why I'll go to Classic is because, like, we just want bare bones shit. Okay, what does this dumbass do? Abilities. Man, 132 abilities. Cleave. Daze, Mortal Strike. He has nothing. Mortal Strike. Alright, let's just type in Warcraft 3. What were these called? Death Knights. Warcraft 3 Death Knight. What do they do? What is the other? Sorry, Death Coil. Death Pact. Death Pact is such a good spell too. Death Coil. Unholy Aura. Animate the Dead. Animate the Dead is such an awesome one too. Oh, that could really make the fight so fucking cool. Oh, you can already imagine what I'm thinking. Raise Dead. Like, obviously that has to be a fucking 50%. mechanic. Yeah, like that's sort of like a phase 3. Roughly like a phase 3, maybe 35%. You know, 35% phase 3. We'll start off with phase 3. 30. So at 35%, all the minis that have died in the zone around Baron Rivendare will be reanimated. Will be raised to fight with maybe like 30% HP. We'll start from there. You know, we'll start from there and we'll figure it out later. Or maybe it could be capped, like maybe like capped or all or 12. All 12 minis that have died in the zone around Baron Rivendare will be raised to fight with 30% HP. Or, this is a cool one, or Yish Araj, Tyrion, Ramstein, all reanimate at 10% HP to fight for Baron. Or you could do that. Or you can do that. Yeah, pretty much like reanimation could be just like mirror images. Yeah, it's just like mirror image. Imagine all these bosses you just beat now come back to life, reanimated, not as strong as they were before, but they come back to fight. Oof. Oh my god, PTSD would drip into your mind immediately. Baron will be fucking laughing because you killed all these people in the fucking plague lands and shit. You can imagine how intimidating that would be, and how much of a shock that would be to a player. You can imagine. It'll almost be like the fucking Naxxramas Four Horsemen fight. It'll almost replicate that, which is fucking crazy to think about. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It sounds good too, but it's fucking crazy. That's what makes it a fucking hard mission. You see what I mean? Like, you see what I'm thinking about? Like, that's the shit that you want. Tyrion Death Knight. Yeah, just have a different skin for him. Tyrion as a Death Knight. You know? Or with the corrupted Ashbringer. You know? Or take inspiration of Karazhan. I think that's how you spell it, or Karazhan. And only reanimate one of the previous bosses to fight. And Baron will slowly regen HP and become immune until the reanimated boss is defeated. See? This sounds cool as well. Right? Karazhan, what's the boss fight? So the theater. The theater boss fight, right? So it's the theater boss. Those who don't know Karazhan, the theater boss fight can be one of 4 bosses, or boss fights, right? Like it can be one of 4, and you can so every single time you fight Tyrion, every time you fight Baron, it could be any one of those 4. It could be any one of those 4. And that's what will be pretty cool. Like, obviously the easiest will be Tyrion, because all he's going to do is sit there and tank, maybe, and just beat the shit out of him. Ramstein is going to obviously cleave the fuck out of everyone. Raj will probably try to slowly take over you, like, you know, you pretty much try and take over your units and shit for at a certain amount of time, if you can't kill him. Geesh is just gonna head straight to your barracks and try and fucking kill you. Like, if you start doing shit like that, it makes these boss fights 1,000 times fucking better. 1,000 better, way better, 100 times even. So we know what phase 3 can be like. Let's have a look at what phase 2 can be like. Mind you, we will look into Baron and we'll look at this fight and we'll see why it's sort of shit. Death Coil. Baron. So Baron Rivendare, where is he sort of located? So in Baron, where is he? Baron. I can't remember. Is he in the dungeon or is he There's Arius. Baron. Where's Baron? The final boss that you will encounter and in the service gate section of Stratholme. Yeah, that's right. So Strath. So what was his? That's right. He only had cleave and shit. That was annoying. Okay. So Stratholme. Oh, it'll be so cool. If they did like a S function, if they had like a S, sort of like the map is like in a S, and it's actually Stratholme. Fight inside Strath. Do you guys remember how you had to beat like I think it was like 10 waves or 12 waves of like ghouls and zombies and abominations and shit like that? I reckon it should be the same thing. I reckon that's how the way the fight initiates, but not like I don't think it should be a crazy amount. So let's say phase 1 is phase 1. Work your way through Stratholme, and kill ghouls, banshees, abominations, necromancers. Alright, you work your way through. Now, that's phase 1. Phase 2, engage with Baron. Baron will use Death Coil to fear units away and gain a slight heal from it. So those minis will not return to fight and kill. Like I think they will just run, or they will just die. Like we'll see, you know. Fear units away. Eventually dies, and getting slight heal from it. So this will be literally from 100%, and this will go all the way down to, let's say, this actually it could literally be all the way down to 35%, I think. Yeah, I would say, like, you know, we don't want to make it too crazy. We really have to do a lot. Like, we gotta go through phase 1. We gotta beat all those fuckers, get up to him, then start the fight. Now we're starting the fight. We're still summoning minions, by the way. We're still summoning minions to get there. Like, that's the thing. There will be, along the S shaped, I reckon there will be barracks. Oh, sorry, barracks. There'll be towers that you can take over. So, S-shaped map with 1 barracks and 2 towers. Phase 1, work your way through Stratholme and kill ghouls, banshees, abominations, necromancers. Phase 2, 100% to 35%, engage with Baron. Baron will use Death Coil, fear units away, eventually dies, and gain a slight heal from it. So it's just like, you know, use so Baron's abilities. Death Coil. fears units away and tries to drain their life. To kill, obviously. Yeah, drains their life to kill. And then we have Unholy Aura. Well, we'll just call it Unholy Regeneration. Oh no, like Unholy Regen. Baron becomes immune and starts to regen his life slowly. And then we have Raise the Dead. I reckon summoning a boss is one. Summons a previous boss from Plaguelands to fight on behalf of Baron. And that's literally it, you know, and that's literally it. Baron starting at 50% HP. Yeah, these are the abilities. Phase 1, work your way through Stratholme, kill ghouls, banshees, abominations, necromancer. Phase 2, capture towers. And capture towers. Phase 2, from 100% to 35%, very generic shit. Beat the shit out of him. Right, beat the shit out of him, try not to get your minions killed, so you want to now start using, like, Holy Nova and shit like that. You want to use healing units and shit like that. You might want to use Smoke Bomb to disengage certain units from the boss. Like, it's becoming much more mechanical now. Now we're starting to get mechanics in, man. Phase 3, at 50%, like, I reckon, what do you guys reckon? Should either 12 minis have died to him? Or do you reckon he should just straight up summon a boss? Or summon, like, literally all 4 at 10%? That could be a clusterfuck, to be honest. I think it should literally be this one. What do you guys think? Like, I'm literally thinking about... He just summons one previous boss to always make it, interesting. I reckon this one's a good one. Baron will slowly regen HP and become immune until the reanimated boss is defeated. Boom. We have now a much better hard mission for Baron. For Baron Rivendare. And the thing is though, this obviously sounds like a lot of work. It definitely is a lot of work to program and everything like that. But honestly, it's much better than what we got. And we're going to have a look at what we got. We're going to have a look at what we got, for sure. And when they say it can't be done, I would rather these guys spend another year or two. Even 2 fucking years. I don't care how long it takes. It's better to release a game that's finished and complete, that feels worthy, than just releasing like an open beta or releasing altogether when there's just shit where things get tedious and it's not too interesting. There's, you know, not too much to look forward to at the moment, because right now, like, and this is all speculation, I have no idea how heroic mode is going to go. Heroic mode, I'm just assuming it might be talents. Like, these bosses have talents. These minions you fight will have talents. The reason why I say that is because when I look at PvP, the bots in PvP, they have talents. So I'm just assuming that they're just going to do the same thing with that, but for PvE. We don't know what raids look like right now. Most likely raids are going to be sort of like the Onyxia fight, just maybe 3 bosses, I think, maybe per raid, or it could be more. I have no idea. But in the meantime, you know, if we have to keep revisiting these fights or some of these fights, I reckon an epic quest should involve a hard mission. It should involve a hard mission. Epic quests should involve a previous hard mission. You know, and it should never change. It should just be according to the level that you have. It should never change. Like, the minions, like, nothing should change. But yeah, what do you guys think so far about these changes that could actually, you know, let's recap. So don't worry about Lunar Claw. Let's get rid of that shit. So this is all about, so the topic at hand is hard bosses, hard missions. What makes them hard? Right now, majority of these bosses are fucking just annoying. They're just annoying, they're just inconvenient, and you just don't want to fight them. Renee, annoying. Lady Vispera, annoying. Devil Sword Queen, a very good fight. Very good fight. Calm Bloodhoof, generic as shit. It's so fucking generic, it doesn't feel like another hard mission. Grom, same thing. If it doesn't feel like a hard mission. We don't feel like we're fighting Grom, we're just fighting... We're fighting over a tower in middle, and then we're just gonna go there and smack Grom. Like, that's all we're doing. General Cobbleton, we're just assaulting him, like how we assault everyone else. Who's here? Inquisitor Whitemane, a great fight. That actually has mechanics. It has mechanics. It's a good fight. Inquisitor Whitemane is a good fight. It's a good generic, just straight up fight. Like, not generic, sorry. It's a good fight that has, just like in Classic WoW, or just like SM. You go there, you beat Baron. Oh, sorry, you beat, what's his name? What's his fucking name? Morgraine. Is it Morgraine? No. It is Morgraine. You go there, you beat Morgraine, he falls to the ground, you go and kill Whitemane, and that's it, right? Like, you know, it's pretty cool. I reckon they can make it a little bit harder, but it's cool. Maybe just replicate the SM fight. You know, first Morgraine comes out, beat the shit out of him, he falls, Whitemane comes out, beat the shit out of Whitemane, she bubbles, resurrects Morgraine, then you fight them together, just like how the final fight is right now with this. And that's fine. I mean, that could be considered as the hard mission. Like, that one's totally fine. Baron, we just talked about a better version of Baron Rivendare. What's this? Falstad. I didn't suffer as much as other people with Falstad, but I do believe Falstad can be a better fight. Like, so those who don't know, Falstad just flies around in a figure 8 forever, and you just try and inject your units to beat the shit out of him. And all Falstad does is just chain lightning. Like, with every single right-click attack is pretty boring. Hogger, I can't remember. I can't remember what a Hogger even does. Let's have a look. What does Hogger do? Honestly, if they want to make this boss fight cool, just make all your minis level 1 and him level 10. Nah, don't do that. That'll be very bad. You'll never beat him. Or you can do something like that. Oh, he just cleaves. That's it. All he does is just fucking cleaves. Musters a brute squad every 45. That's so boring, man. Like, it's so fucking boring. Like, we can recreate how people try to fight him at level 1, you know? Maybe sometimes he just throws a fucking his ham hock and just downgrades your unit to level 1. You know, like, we can literally make these boss fights much more interesting and engaging. And it's just simple thoughts like that. It's simple. It's very simple. Obviously, he's an early hard boss, so he only needs one phase, and he only needs one more. Not even a phase. All he does is just throw, like, just to get the players into it. And maybe in the final 30 seconds, he enrages and he starts beating the shit out of people, just left, right, smacking everyone. You know, just constantly smacking people. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be too crazy because it is a starting area. We talked about Falstad. I keep clicking on it for some reason. General Dracasath. Rend feels more of a hard mission than Dracasath. Not gonna lie. Dracasath feels very generic. It's the platforms that you gotta, like, you know, manage. But we can make that fight interesting with the same mechanics, with the platforms and shit like that. Maybe we can burn him at certain times. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many better ideas that can come around, that can come out from this. The Dreadnought's a cool fight. I reckon it should just, yeah, as a hard mission, it should slowly bombard your buildings. You know, it should just slowly bombard your buildings, honestly. That one's a very simple one. Abercrombie. This is a good fight. I don't mind this fight. For those who've never seen it before, let's quickly go into it. Show you what happens. This is sort of like a race against time. I would rather the minion come out once, because you sort of want this to be a race against time. See how this like vial starts off almost full? This is supposed to be considered as a hard fight. I would literally have it start at the bottom. The more minions he kills, he adds it to the vial, right? And once that vial's full, which this will encourage you to use a lot of spells against him, and tanks and shit like that. The mob comes out and just fucking is way more stronger than the boss. Way more stronger. And it can be killable. But I think, you know, like we'll get to see it here. This mob should only ever come out once, and it should be the most dangerous abomination to come out. And it should do the exact same thing. Cleave, hook your range, wipe everyone, come down and beat the shit out of your axe, and it's over. You know? I would honestly... I'm trying to think how the way this was though. I don't think he should summon him here. I think this should be backwards. This should be slightly above him in a smaller indication. Like probably left to right. And every time he kills a unit, you can see it flying into this sort of like vial or pot or all this shit here behind him. Once it spawns, it could either spawn closer to your base, halfway to your base, or maybe off to like somewhere else, you know, or it can come out the door here and beat the shit out of you instead of just flying out of this little this hatch, you know. And during that time, he should be immune, I think. Actually, no, he shouldn't be immune. You should be able to still beat the shit out of him. And just hope to fuck that, you know, you don't die to this fucker. You know, but he should be staying in his own lane to come down to beat the fuck out of you, which will then still give you this side to fight the boss with and try and beat him before he gets there. These are the things they need to like consider and think about. Because that boss should come out once. Like, sorry, that mini boss, the abomination should come out once, but be a big threat, not just a mob that you slap with execute. If both buttons activate at the same time, they can damage Drac maybe. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if both buttons activate at the same time for General Dracosath, he should have... This should be... Because the Dracosath fight in WoW sucks. It's pretty boring. Like, let's be honest, the Dracosath fight is pretty fucking boring. He hits fucking hard. Don't get me wrong, he fucking hits hard. But what I think should happen is that he should have minions coming down to activate a button that burns your barracks. You should be able to go down the lane and try to do the same thing against him. Now we're focusing on two things at once. In the same time, we're trying to fight Drac. We're trying to fight him maybe. And he's hitting hard. You know, he fucking hits hard. But it becomes sort of like a multi-managing, like, you know, a lot of CC, a lot of mob control, and trying to control the fight. If we can inflict more burn damage on him and shit like that, it should make him vulnerable. If we activate the button for him, it should make him vulnerable, and then we can beat the fuck out of him. We can start laying into him with, you know, elemental damage, like everything. If he activates the button for us, it burns our fucking barracks for a bit. Like, that's what I think it should be like. Because the fight is not interesting. It feels like a straight... This is the final boss of the campaign, and it's not spectacular. Obviously, Onyxia is spectacular, but this fight is not spectacular at all. The Ren fight is much more spectacular. My god. Those who've seen the fucking VODs last year. So look, it looks like every other fight. There's 2 platforms. This should just be 3 lanes. Like, one button should only ever be activatable from him, and the other button should be only activatable for us. And if we hit like our button, it makes him vulnerable for like 10 seconds. If he hits our button, he's gonna do probably 10% damage to our barracks with like just burn damage. And then we're constantly fighting over these buttons while we're also sending minions maybe up mid just to fight him. Like, and that could be an interesting fight that has no phases. It could literally just be that, you know. Or maybe we start off like 100% to 90%. We're fighting him first, and then what happens is like the other two lanes are dark. Let's just say the other two lanes are dark. We can't go there yet. Let's say there's gates. There's gates there blocking us, so no minions can get through anyways. You can't unbound there, nothing. Then he just, once we get him down to 90%, he does a massive fucking cleave, one-shots everyone, taunts you, opens up his gate on his side, and his minions start coming through, which also activates our gate on our side, and we can start sending minions up to him for these buttons. And that is the next phase. So there's only two phases, 100% to 90%, or it could be 85% or 75%. Then the rest of the fight is trying to balance this shit. It's a balancing act. Because he fucking kills your minions in seconds. Like, we ourselves are not heroes. Our hero units will go down and fight, but most likely still get killed. So, like, these are the things that they need to think about, man. These are the things they need to think about to make it, like, hard fights special. It needs to be special. Just like the Onyxia fight. I wish I can show you Onyxia fight, but right now I don't have the fucking levels to do so. But yeah, like, this is what I'm talking about. Baron. This one is... the only reason why this is considered a hard mission because there's a mini-boss, but you don't have to beat the mini-boss. And Baron is like... all the way at the end of the fucking map, and it takes a million years to get there. Unless you're using unbound units. The Dreadnought. The Dreadnought, I think it could be a better fight. There needs to be phases where he's constantly starting to now bombard your tower, like everything, all your buildings. But yeah, you see what you see what I mean? LMA, I use left lane and Banshee. Oh, for the Dracozath fight. Yeah, no, that definitely works. Banshee does a lot of damage to damage to bosses. And shit like that. I think it's like almost 10% sometimes, depending on the level of your Banshee. But what we're talking about right now, those who only just jumped in, we're talking about the topic of hard missions. Like, some hard missions feel like normal missions. They just feel like every other mission. Ember Strife is a good one. Like, I don't mind Ember Strife going around in circles and shit like that, but I think it could be slightly better. Jane and Proudmoore's fight could be different. I think these two should swap. Not gonna lie, I think these two should actually swap, maybe. Actually, I have no idea. Why is Jane and Proudmoore in Dustwallow Marsh? Does anyone have an answer for that? Like, why is Jaina in here? Like, why is she not in Dalaran or something? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand this part. Unless she's actually there in Dustwallow Marsh in WoW, I have no idea. Alright, how long have we been streaming for? 2 hours. Okay, so let's try and go for PvP. We'll have a little bit of a break. Let's I'll see if I can do some PvP. But then we'll get back to the topics and shit like that at hand. Just before PvP, cause she sailed to Kalimdor. Oh, she landed in Dustwallow? On WoW Classic, mate. Jaina was in Dustwallow on WoW Classic. Okay. Well, there you go. See, I only play Horde, so I have no idea if, like, I have no idea from the Alliance side of it. Man, we should just fight her on a ship then. Getting there. Or she just landed on the ship. Yeah, who knows. Like, there's a lot of things that can change. But let's recap before I do a quick PvP. So, the topic is hard bosses. We have examples of boss fights that can go way better. That can be much better, much more engaging. Theramore Isle is into... oh yes, Theramore Isle. Yes. Yes, that makes sense. Sorry, that makes sense. Spanner, how you doing, man? Welcome back. I'm just about to do a recap too of what we just talked about. The topic is hard missions. We've been talking about that for like the last 2 fucking hours now. Hard missions. Anyone who reads this would imagine that this is a special mission. That it's, oh man, we're in for a fight. And we're in for, we're straight up in for a fight. I don't know what's going to be like. Most of these bosses have been tank and spank. Like, we have no idea, what this fight's going to be like. It needs to be sort of cinematic. It needs to be a little bit taunting and stuff like that. It makes you want to go to the next area and find out what's the next big fight I'm going to have. So, let's say, example, Lady Vespera. We know what that looks like. I've already showed it a million times now. It's very generic. She's just fucking inconvenient and annoying. Like, what makes her hard right now is literally the fact that she has long range and she shoots a shadow bolt and just AoEs your mobs. And then if you try to use unbounds or if you get in close, she does a tail lash, AoE tail lash, and kills, and most likely will kill most of your mobs. It's boring. That's all we're fucking doing the entire time. That's all we're fucking doing the entire time, and it's fucking boring. Let's take the Lady Vespera fight. Let's give her now Forked Lightning. Whoops. What does it look like on there? I think I fucked up a little bit. No, okay, we're all good. Let's give it Forked Lightning, just like it says in like Wowhead and stuff like that. Let's give her a natural resistance to magic, so you can't just spam magic on her. The AoE Tail Lash, keep it. Shadow Bolt, keep it. Just keep those. All the minis should only ever be Murlocs, Faceless Ones, Void, and Void Walkers. I'm sure they can add it into the fucking game. Minions should already be on the map. Fight through the minions to get to the boss. She aggroes for the first time, and AoE Tail Lashes wiping out all your minis. So she's not attacking at this time. She has no idea that you're there. You're gonna get to her. You get to her, you fight her. You engage her. Right? She just immediately does it from 100% HP, just wipes out all your units. Now she taunts you. She's like, oh, you enter my sanctum, blah, 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 and now rain starts, like, the map changes. Just like the Son of Aragorn fight, it goes from day to night. This needs to go from bright sunny to cloudy and raining, and just cloud and rain. Make, much more blue, a bluish, greenish fucking tint, and it feels like a thunderstorm is coming. Now, you start fighting her, you still beating the shit out of her, she's like AoE fucking tail lashing. She throws a shadow bolt every 5 seconds, not every fucking time. Every 5 seconds she'll throw one out, and it can hit any one of your mobs on the field. She gets to 75%. She summons Void Walkers to tank minis while she uses AoE Shadow Bolt. Now she's going to throw shit tons of Shadow Bolts. Like AoE, like she'll probably throw quite a lot to try and beat the fuck out of your units. At that time, while she's sort of trying to cast the spell, and it could be much longer. Instead of just one Shadow Bolt with a small AoE, it could be like 2 or 3 now. It can be 2 or 3. She summons Void Walkers to tank minis while she uses Shadow Bolt. 2 Void Walkers start wandering down to your base to attack your barracks. Those Void Walkers are tanky as shit. And it's up for debate whether they can act like siege units, or if they can literally just fucking beat the fuck out of all your units on the way down. And they should be tough. They should be tough. I'm thinking they should be siege units. Siege units that cause shadow damage AoE and to constantly, slowly, just damaging all your minis on the way down. That could be up for a discussion and debate. Once you've beaten the Void Walkers, let's say, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't want her to be immune to during this time. I do want her to still be attacked. But if you're going to attack her, the shadow, most likely she'll still shadow bolt all your minis in front of her. And instead of just being one shadow bolt, it'll be many. So you just sort of want to focus on the Void Walkers, because she won't stop doing the AoE shadow bolts until those Void Walkers are dead. Once those Void Walkers are dead, she goes back to normal. She goes sort of back to normal. She'll cast Forked Lightning in front to clear all the minis, to clear the board, so everyone on the board dies, or just in front of her. Your resistant minis should be able to resist it, obviously, because it is magic. It should be able to resist it. It is elemental. Should be able to resist it. The skies turn even darker now. Now it's not raining anymore, it's chain lightning. But it's smaller chain lightning AoEs hitting the ground. And you can see it coming, because there'll be indicators when it's coming. And it should be like 3 seconds and shit like that. Because just in case you do spawn minions, you don't want to spawn them in a spot and then they get zapped. That'd be stupid. The skies turn dark, chain lightning will hit randomly on spots on the map, very small AoE, but here's the thing, if it does hit, it chain lightnings to all, like in a large area, it will hit and chain lightning to all the other units. Very small AoE size chain lightning spots that have indicators so we know where it's going to strike, and that is, you know, after Fork Lightning. Fork Lightning is only a one-time thing, the rest of it's all a chain lightning thunderstrike thing that keeps happening. Like all over the map, because you're constantly trying to summon units to beat the rest of, like, to get rid of the last HP. And that's it, and that's her fight. Renee Wolfrunner. Another example before we go into PvP. Remove all the minis, have the boss completely stealth in the middle of the map or 1/3 of the map. Have 3 barracks, top left, top right, and bottom mid. The loss condition is to lose all 3 barracks. So there's no summoning stones, there's no towers, you have 3 barracks, you lose all 3, you're dead. How the way this fight works, the abilities, she has Searing Glaives, because she doesn't have bow and arrow, so we're taking inspiration off the Priestess of the Moon. She has Searing Glaives, Frontal Cone of Glaives, they can probably set your units on fire. A Scout, she summons an owl to search for one of your barracks. If the owl reaches your barracks, it summons 3 to 4 huntresses to try and kill it. Phase 1, 100% to 9%. Renee starts off stealth and releases a Starfall to wipe the board. Renee taunts the player and the fight begins. Phase 2, at every 90%, 60%, 30%, she summons an owl, a stealth owl that seeks out one of your barracks. So you want to take this fight slow. You want to, as much as you can, take this fight slow. If you start rushing her, all 3 owls are going to come out. Now you could race against time, but it's but it wouldn't be ethical to do so, because most likely all your barracks will go out at the same time, and then you're fucking dead. So the owls act like gargoyles, siege gargoyles. They're just going out. They're gonna go out, but instead of attacking your barracks, they signal for huntresses to spawn and start just wailing on your fucking barracks. And it's hard to spawn on them because the glaives are going fucking everywhere. And those huntresses don't seek out the other barracks. They don't know where the other barracks are. They just spawn and sit there, and that's it. Phase 3. Once the last owl is killed, one more Starfall to wipe the board. She now enrages to head. Sorry, rages. She now enrages, then starts to head to the remaining barracks that you have left. If you have like 3 or 2 or only 1, she'll start heading in the direction of one of your barracks to destroy them while you're fighting your minis, and that's 30% to 0%. So you have to kill her during that time, and that's that boss fight. So what we know already of Renee Wolfrunner, and we know what it looks like. 3 huntresses come down, and they try to beat the shit out of you already, and that happens like within intervals. We can just change it a little bit, change the map, because the map sucks, and just have a much better fucking fight. It feels like you're fighting the boss. You feel like you are fighting the boss. I'm gonna say it again, so the devs are listening. You feel like you are fighting the boss. It is labeled a hard mission. You want to fight the boss, like how you want to fight Onyxia. You want to fight the boss. You want to fight the boss. You want to feel like you're in a fight with the boss, not with minis. You don't want to fight minis all the time. You want to fight the fucking boss, right? That's what it needs to be. The last example of this is Baron Rivendare, because this is labeled as a hard mission, and is not even fucking hard. It is the most boring fucking mission, the most generic fucking mission that's there. The only gimmick out of this, like, I don't know anyone that goes down the right fucking side of the map that hits that fucking barracks just to spawn units, when you can just go to the fucking barracks, or the tower on the left instead of tower on the right. Like, there's things that just don't make fucking sense. The only reason why that tower exists on the right is just to piss you off, to summon more units against you. That's all it does. That's all it's there for. And it's an inconvenience. What? And Baron does nothing. Baron does nothing in this fight. He does nothing but hit your units and waits for units to spawn so they can hit you. It's stupid. Baron Rivendare is easy if you spam units. Exactly. That's it's a brain dead fight, and it's considered a hard mission. I keep looking at this hard mission. It says hard mission. HARD mission. This is the shit that I'm getting frustrated with. Like I keep saying, compared to last year, PvE and campaign is 90% better than last year. 100%. 90%. Alright? Like 90% better. But the extra 5% is literally changing the hard missions on how the way they work. The other 5% is just stop letting these fucking it's just buggy shit, you know, like sometimes some of these bosses will summon the same units over and over again. Like, that can be fixed. Now let's talk about Baron Rivendare hard mission. I agree with Jenna so much. We don't fight the boss, we fight the units. It feels like the bosses are necromancers. Exactly. They're just summoning mobs like fucking crazy. Now, Spanner, wait till you get... Remember, this has all been made up literally only like fucking 20-30 minutes ago. Listen to this Baron fucking fight. Hard mission. Hard mission, right? It definitely will be hard. Baron Rivendare, the fight inside Strath. So, we fight inside Strathhorn. It's an S-shaped dungeon or a map. S-shaped map with 1 barracks and 2 towers. The 2 towers are obviously under control by the Scourge. This is how the fight goes. So these are the abilities of Baron. He has Death Coil. He fears the unit away, just like in WoW Classic. Or I think also in current WoW. Fears units away and tries to drain their life to kill it. Unholy Regen. Baron becomes immune and starts to regen his life slowly. Raise the Dead. Summons a previous boss from Plague Lands. So any of Gish, Araj, Tyrion, or Ramstein. Any one of them. It can be any one. It will always be different every fight. Always be different every fight, which makes it fucking unique. When you revisit it in Quest, you think you're gonna go up, oh, Ramstein summoned before, you might go up against Tyrion next time. You might be up against Araj next time. It's random. So, and it only summons that boss back at 50%, but they're dead, so they're much slower in attack speed. Their abilities aren't as strong as before, but they're 50%, and Tyrion's gonna be very easy to kill. Ramstein is like sort of the next one that's sort of easy to kill. Gish is gonna be hard because he's gonna head straight for your fucking barracks, just like before, just like that initial fight. And Araj's summoner is gonna be terrifying because he's gonna try and fucking send banshees to fucking take over your units. So you want to kill this motherfucker quick. So, phase 1: work your way through Strathhorn, kill ghouls, banshees, abominations, necromancers, and capture the tower, and capture the other 2 towers. Right. Phase 2, from 100% to 35%. Engage with Baron. Baron will use Death Coil to fear units away, eventually, which eventually die if they're weak, and gain a slight heal from it. So this is a long fight, you know, but because we're able to spam more units, maybe there could be gold nodes everywhere that we can keep getting ourselves. Mind you, remember, there's no more minis that get spawned. There are no more minis. Baron does not spawn fucking minis. We have total map control. We're now sending waves and waves and waves of mobs against him. Waves. Because we want to have so many fucking mobs where it feels like, okay, now he's fucked. We're going to absolutely smash him. Because you want this 100% to 35% phase to go down quick. You know? And you want the next boss to go down fucking quick as possible too, if you're lucky. Phase 3. At 35%, Baron raises one of the previous Plague Land bosses, which starts at 50% HP. Baron will slowly regen HP and become immune until the reanimated boss is defeated. Once the raised boss is dead, Baron drops immunity, continuing to finish the fight. I don't know about you, but that sounds a lot more fucking better than what this is right now. Are we even fighting in Strathhorn? I want to have a look. Are we even fighting in Strathhorn here, or is it just some fucking random area? Every time I look at it, it looks like every other map. We are fighting in front of him. In front of, like... Is the gate down here? There's no gate. We're just walking in. Man, the map design is just fucking trash. Alright, the building's there. That's there. this fight can be 100 times better. Maybe periodically he summons skeletons to come and fight ya, but it shouldn't be a crazy threat. You know, let's just say like periodically. Like that's what you can add. Periodically summon skeletons to fight, and that's like raising the dead, right? Like, but like incredible ideas. How long you think they would need to reasonably add to match time to allow phase? They like honestly, I think it should be. What is it right now? 3 minutes and a half. If they do 5 minutes, 5 minutes normal, then 2 times gold is 90 seconds. I think it will be fine. Like, remember, this doesn't have to be crazy. Like, or they can take what they have with Onyxia, which is which is already 6 minutes, and then 2 or 3 minutes overtime. You know, and you know they can sort of make every fight feel like an Onyxia fight. You know, but not as long as Onyxia, I would say. Like, I think they'll need to find a way to do it. But like I said, Onyxia has 3 phases. Why can't so many other bosses? Why can't all the hard bosses not have this shit? You know what I mean? And then every time we have an epic quest, it selects one of the hard bosses. It literally selects one of the hard missions for epic. Yeah, 5 minutes plus maybe 90. I would say 90 seconds overtime. You know, 5 minutes is a long time. Like when you think about WoW boss fights, most boss fights last maybe like 90 seconds to anything to 5 minutes. So I will take that formula and adapt it to this. You know what I mean? I'll literally adapt it to this and make, okay, like when we're actually fighting a boss and not fighting minions and it's only the boss, it should be 5 minutes long. You know, on average, maybe 4 minute fights. You know, in total, 6 minutes and a half. You know what I mean? But getting the double gold is to try and finish it. You know what I mean? Like, those are just 3 examples to make hard bosses, so hard missions, to make hard missions ingrain into your brain. Right? We're getting this big giant fucking grill, we're planting into your fucking brain to get you ready for Onyxia, to get you and understand what you're in for. Because Onyxia, now you can imagine this. Oh man, Baron was such a fucking hard fight. Oh man, you know, Renee Wolfrunner was such a hard fight. I can't imagine what Onyxia is gonna be like. I can't imagine what raiding is gonna be like. They're gonna be larger than that. And that's when it becomes, now you want to stay around. Now you want to work to get into raiding. Now you want to get there. Like, the better thing compared to last year it took me 2 months to beat the fucking campaign, or because I was severely underleveled. And there's not many ways to get EXP back then compared to now, and gold. Like, today you can get much more EXP, much more gold, and plus, because the addition of 2 new zones makes it easier to get more gold and EXP and everything like that, and get through the campaign. Then there's going to be heroic mode of this, which should cater into raiding. And then, yeah, I think it can just be better. You want players to stick around. You know what I mean? You want players to stick around. Because right now, end game is going to be raids. End game is going to be raids, and end game is going to be PvP. PvP, I think we're going to talk about PvP on another day. I think on Wednesday we're going to talk about PvP. Because tonight we talked a lot about PvE and what they can fix in PvE. Not so much as what PvP is going to be. Like, that needs to be... PvP... Like, here's the good addition. This was one of the best things they ever done. Is finally add the ranking into it and add the rewards that feel very generous. Very generous rewards. And this happens, and this resets, by the way. This resets every I think every month or every 2 weeks or something, I can't remember. And we have affixes. Now it's always going to be interesting. So that's a good step. That's a good step. But PvP is broken right now, and we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. But PvP is nowhere near as what it can be. PvP right now is a pain in the fucking ass. Because we're still running into the same problems. Because we're all trying to get here to Onyxia. Because right now that is the end game, Onyxia. It's considered like a one-man raid. And right now we're all trying to fucking PvP. And everyone's using one of 3 builds. And if you did not know that and you're leveling, you're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. Like, sorry to say, but yeah, you do not stand a chance. 2 weeks, what was this? One concept that we should have is more like the Hydras in the dungeons, having objectives. See, yeah, let's talk about dungeons. Black Fathom Depths is a good fucking dungeon. We have 2 fights. For some reason I'm going blank on the fucking second fight. The first fight is generic. We gotta fight through the mobs. It's sort of like we're fighting outside to try and get it into the instance. That's what it feels like. We kill that Murloc at the end. And then the second fight, remind me, what's the second fight for BFD? The second fight for BFD. Second boss fight. Does anyone have it here? Dungeon run. I'm just going to quickly look at someone's dungeon run. This is 4 minutes. Which one's this one? Because Akurmai is the last one. So what's this one? Oh, it's Drezel. I wonder if he's back. No, that's the Akurmai fight. That one's fine. I don't have a problem with Akurmai. That fight's really good. What's the fucking second one? Second fight is the acid. Oh god. Oh my god. You know why I don't remember that fight is because I don't want to remember that fight. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, it's that fucking ooze. It's the stupid acidic ooze fucking thing. Where in BFD do we ever fight a fucking... Oh wait, no, it's the elemental, isn't it? It's like an acid elemental. So that fight, guys, hopefully we get to see it. Just look at my past VODs or other people's on YouTube. I can't remember what the fight is actually called, but that is literally one of the worst fights ever. One of the worst fights. So what's happened is the top lane, the bottom lane and the top lane. So there's 3 lanes, sort of like Dota. The top lane has a pool of acid, and the bottom lane has a pool of acid. So you can go over it with flying units, but you can't go through it with minions, because they're just going to die the poison. So if you don't have air units at all in your lineup, which I don't know why you wouldn't have at least one, maybe, you got to sort of go through the middle. But if you're just going to go through the middle, what triggers the other boss to do is to spawn units at the other fucking towers or the other lanes to go down and start and force you to defend. One of the towers is literally, so the bottom tower is literally on the edge of the fucking poison, and it's right next to the boss. So you always want to go for that one, as much as you can, unless you can get the top one. But other than that, that boss is so fucking tedious, because every time you fight the boss, it summons a little blob. That little blob does poison, and it's fucking tough too. And that fight is just one of the most tedious fucking fights, because he's resistant. He takes barely any magic damage. And the mobs that he sends out is like the perfect mobs. I think it's like ogres and spiders and firehammer and all that shit. It's like anti-air, anti-fucking... like, it's crazy. You are like the most at 75 skulls because the range between your level and Oni is high, like me. Yeah, well, pretty much right now we're halfway. Like, even though we got 75 skulls, we're halfway in terms of levels. Because like 17.4 and Oni is 30. And what is supposed to make up for that deficiency is heroic mode. Like heroic mode and PvP, that's what's supposed to make up for it, and dungeoning. So that's why it feels like a grind right now. Like I fully believe that once heroic mode is out, we're not gonna have to struggle as like we did before. You know, Onyxia will be an introduction fight to raiding, and I feel like raiding will be unlocked if you can beat Oni. I would say, like that's how I'll think about it, maybe. So it gives you something to push for. So it prepares. So everyone that you party up with, if raiding is like co-op, they'll have no idea yet. If raiding is co-op, if you can solo beat Onyxia, then everyone who does raiding, you know that they've done Onyxia, so they're not a complete idiot. And that's what you have to hope for. I hope that raids will play us together. I think so. Like, I would only assume that raiding is co-op. I would only assume. Maybe you can do it by yourself. Who knows? Like, who the fuck knows? But, you know, there should be options. But yeah, so all of this that we talked about, you know, all of this shit that we talked about, I don't see why it can't be added to the game. I don't care how long it takes for this game to come out. It just needs to come out, and it needs to be fucking good, and it needs to be finished. If they are literally considering that the rest of the PvE is going to be made up of heroic versions of these, and these fights are not interesting, it becomes a fucking chore. Just like this, green quests are a fucking chore. Surges come out, and surges are great. Don't get me wrong, surges are great. They need to be fixed. We can talk about that in the future. Right now, yeah, I think, you know, I'll save surges to like maybe Thursday. Today is more about the PvE side, my thoughts on the game a little bit, and yeah. But that's literally what I've been talking about. You know, like I think it can just be better. And that's how you make it better. And if the devs say they can't do it or it's too much, then fuck. Like, why can we have boss fights? Like, okay, I'm gonna go through each area. I'm gonna tell you which fights are great and which fights are just, well, everything else will just be generic and shit. These are just learning areas. They're all fine. There's nothing special. Tedious. Merc-Eye is fucking tedious as shit. Dreadnought is okay. What's the next one? Abercrombie, a great fucking fight. It can be tweaked. Like I said, it can be tweaked. Interesting fight. He has a shield. See, this is why every time I talk about immunities and shields and shit like that, they have it in the game. I just don't understand why they can't do it to this. Well, I don't know why they can't just do this. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why they... Some boss fights feel like they're meant to be the hard missions. Some hard missions are meant to feel like they're the other ones. Interesting fight. A Dustwood. Whoever designed Dustwood has definitely interesting fights. Like, very interesting fights. Strangle STV. I reckon STV should be... should be matchmaking. So in order to beat it, you also got to be fighting PvP. So PvPVE to make it authentic. Nah, I don't think that would be fucking annoying. What's an interesting fight? Jimrock is sort of an introduction to an interesting fight, where, like, you know, the other trolls will come down and they act like siege units. King Mukla is a very fucking unique fight. Like, that's very unique, man. Like, that comes out of nowhere. Hexa, annoying, but it's okay. It's not as bad as the others. Like, we're okay here. Morbid Fell is a good concept. It is a good concept, and all these small concepts they have in the game already can be adapted to all the hard boss fights, to all of them. They just need to fucking change it. They need to make it better. Like, trust me when I say, when creating a game, you need to look into history, in what makes memorable fights and what makes it engaging. a lot of people when they play the reason why Classic is so popular is because they remember the experience of leveling was great fun. How does that relate to Arclight? The experience of leveling in this is great fun. It is great fun. It reminds people of that. The first time people done MC, the first boss kill, and also the first time they ever beat fucking Ragnaros. That's what people go back to. That's what people want to remember. That's what people want to fucking go back to and fight, and that's why they do it again. Even though some of these fights are generic, they do it because they're memorable. They're memorable. All we need to do is slightly tweak it. Slightly tweak all these boss fights. PvP is memorable. Alterac Valley. How many times we all fucking camped the bridge? How many times did the Alliance just charge straight to fucking our dudes and just beat the fuck out of our dude? Like it's memorable. These things are memorable. And PvP, if there's co-op PvP in the future, it's gonna be fights are gonna be memorable. They're gonna be, especially if you're gonna have tournaments. Clutch plays, like it will happen. It will 100% happen. But we also, in Classic WoW, we always remember some escorts. How many times when people do escort, like some people do dungeons, so Wailing Caverns, no one wants to do the event escort. Those little chickens, no one wants to fucking do them. No one wants to do that shit. Like, there are so many things that people just don't want to do, and people skip. And, and it's for a reason, because it's tedious, annoying, and no one wants to fucking do it. The good old days of vanilla WoW. Yeah, exactly. It looks like all bosses are randomly mixed, and if the level is one more up, it's named hard mission. Yeah, I know. Like, it's no offense, but it's fucking lazy. It's lazy. Think about Warcraft 3. The Mount Hyjal fight, Warcraft 3. That's intense. The Battle for Ice Crown. That's fucking intense. Remember the tower defense map in Dalaran as well? You remember that Warcraft 3? What else do we remember? What's a good one? Remember when Grom, like the fight against what's his name? Well, it's a cinematic and shit like that, but like leading up to it was fucking intense. You guys will remember when Grom fucking, like, in the cinematic, he just shoves his axe straight down and breaks the armor of what's his name? Can't remember his fucking name. I agree. There are some lazy designs in War. They name it as Need for Simplicity. Man, you have so many fights that are just simple. Well, not these ones. I'll quickly try and Manaroth. That's it, Manaroth. Oh my god, if we have Manaroth, imagine if we were able to travel through time in this game and do boss fights like that. Ooh. You don't get that in Classic WoW. The only time you get that is maybe in fucking Warcraft 3. You're not going to get that anywhere else. But you can create memorable moments that are missing in this game as well. But it helps people, it reminds people of Warcraft 3, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 1. We can go on forever about it. Okay, I'll try and lightning quick off just shoot off all these fucking things. This is the starting area, Element Forest, generic. We're gonna collect that. Generic. Hogger, generic. That's fine, it's a starting area. Voltros can be tedious at times. Murkeye, fucking annoying. Marshall Redpaw, it's okay. Foe Reaper, straightforward, very fucking easy. It's too easy. Dreadnought, inconvenient. Inconvenient, lazy design. When they could, this is where they could start introducing phases and mechanics, right? He doesn't bombard yet, but when he bombards everything that you have, towers, everything. He's got, and it happens in waves. Not all the time, happens in waves. Like, these are introductions that they could have to do that. Whoever designed Dustwood, amazing. I think nearly all these fights are fucking good. And they all have interesting concepts. Ghoulia, you want to send a massive wave and continue to fight. You don't want Ghoulia to regen, like by eating, like cannibalizing mobs. You don't want you don't want to spam shitty units against Morladim because he's gonna summon them as skeletons. Which goes back to here. Why can't they do it here? Why can't they do that here? Why can't they do shit like this here? Like, I don't understand. Morbent Fell, literally has almost an immunity, but 90% damage reduction or something like that, 95% damage reduction, until you get the priest there to destroy the shield. Fucking great concept. Blind Mary, possesses your minis. I think Blind Mary should be able to, like, you know, send more Banshees down the fucking line, maybe 3 Banshees at the same time to make it a little bit more difficult, but, you know, but it is a low level area, so I guess it's okay. Blind Mary is a good introduction to Banshees, so that's fine. It's, you know, nothing really needs to change much. Abercrombie can change a little bit. So what I said before about Abercrombie is that have the vial be at 0. When you start engaging with Abercrombie, more minions he kills on the way through, he puts it into the vial gets full, and only ever once summons the Abomination, and the Abomination is much more stronger than everyone else, like way more stronger than Abercrombie as well, but it's sort of a race against time. Now you want to try and kill, you want to have the control over the right tower to summon units to kill Abercrombie before before the fucking Abomination comes and kills you. You can defend against the Abomination, you can try to kill him, but I don't think he should be killable. I think it needs to get the player to put into their mind that some things you should let go and focus on other things. Like, you're training the player to what's more important type thing. Like, I think this is where you can introduce it. Other than that, Duskwood, great area. Jindu the Hexa, inconvenient. King Mukla, very good design. King Bangladesh, tedious because the map design is shit. Jimrock the Breaker, it's a good introduction to siege units, inshallah, I would say. Ursius is really hard if you are at the same level and do not use unbounds or for middle capturing. Yeah, exactly. Like that is because of poor map design. It feels like a random map generator, and in all the perfect spots to go and attack from is covered by a fucking bridge. Like it's annoying. All it is, it's annoying. It's not fun. And Ursius doesn't really do anything apart from swipe, and it's pretty shit. We'll get to that in a moment though. Jimrock the Breaker, like I said, Jimrock the Breaker is okay. He just sends siege units down. It's still starting area, it's okay. Baron, this fight, boring. Fucking boring. It takes a million, unless you got unbounds, you can make this fight happen very quickly. Other than that, this is one of the most tedious fucking fights when you have to do this as a fucking quest. Every time I see it as a quest, I skip it. I go to another mob. Because A, the map is huge. B, the path, you got 3 paths to take. It doesn't matter where you spawn, because there's a fucking tower on the right hand side. If no matter which one you try and capture, you're fucked, because there's nothing to spawn next to the boss. Those towers are closer to you than they are to the boss, and it's fucking tedious and it's fucking annoying. The mob in the middle is easy to kill, the captain, but it's just the inconvenience, and it's fucking annoying. They could make that fight much more interesting, like a Bebop and Rocksteady type thing, dynamic, if they really wanted to. We might as well finish off the rest of this area of Eastern Kingdoms, and then we'll look at Kalimdor. Chef Audrey, it's okay. It's a good introduction. It's just a generic fight. Son of Aragal. This has so many aspects of being a great fucking fight, and it falls very short. It falls very fucking short. The day to night cycle and changing the mobs is fucking awesome. The problem is, getting to the boss is a tedious piece of shit. Is 100% a tedious piece of shit. Honestly, it's fucking. I don't know how they can fix it right now. I just don't know. Like, it's one of the most annoying fights. Interesting and annoying at the same time. Son of Aragorn is a great map and a great idea with changing the day. Yeah, it's fine and all that, but the 2 towers being right next to fucking each other, right next to the boss, and one of them's high ground is fucking annoying. Because it makes you want to go for the one on the high ground, but as soon as you summon a mob, the tower at the bottom is going to hit you, and vice versa. So like, it's just inconvenient and fucking annoying. There should be a way to flip the switch, like, you know. Actually, no, I don't think so. If the Worgens come out, it should be very dangerous. Honestly, I think it should be a race against time. There should be, like, you know, because the boss fight's what, 3.5 minutes. If it gets down to 1 minute, it should be nighttime, and then all those humans now become Worgens, and they should be fucking tough to kill. They should be tough. Like, it will be the same thing as Aragorn, son of Aragorn himself. Son of Aragorn should be a human during day, and when you fight him, he's easy, but as time goes on, if you can't kill him quick enough, he becomes a werewolf, and he fucking destroys your mobs in seconds. And he just becomes harder to kill, that's all. Yeah, if the boss fight is too easy, it's boring. Exactly. It's just all this becomes is a chore. And this was the problem last year that I kept saying. The game becomes a chore. And what else was a chore? Back in fucking WoW, in Mr. Pandaria, if I remember, and even now, daily quests are fucking annoying. Barracks, strongholds, fucking tedious. It's fucking, no one wants to do that, man. No one wants to fucking do that. Who the fuck wants to go in and do 20 fucking missions for the most minimum reward, if not any? It makes you not want to play. You just don't want to play. Blood Mage Thanos. This fight, what was it? I can't remember what the fuck this looks like. Actually, I'm gonna have a quick look at it. I totally forgot what it looks like. For some reason, I'm thinking of another fight. White Mane is my favorite boss. Yeah, White Mane's. Oh wait, no, this is the Banshee one. Here's the thing. I don't see why here's the thing. The theme of Thanos is the fact that every time he casts a spell, he levels up. Why can't they implement the same thing to this fuckhead? Let's just say he doesn't start off at level 18. Let's just say it's a level 18 fight. Let's say he starts off at level... Let's say he starts off level... I would say level 15. Like, here's it, because you also got to consider that people can just execute him and kill him and drop all the minions on top of him. Let's just say Blood Mage Thanos is resistant, right? He has a spell ward at the start, so he absorbs spells, and that's a buff for like 10 seconds. In that 10 seconds, he casts 3 spells on, on everything. If you summon mobs on him, he's just gonna fucking like Blizzard or something like that, like, or whatever, right? He gains a level. It needs to be a race against time. Every 15 seconds or so, he should be casting a spell. And then he levels up and levels up and levels up. But the thing is, though, they just need to find the right balance between DPS and everything like that. Like, I think he needs to gradually get... Or maybe every 1 minute it goes up 1 extra level. I don't know. Like, they can make it interesting. I just don't know why they don't do that. And just rely on this shit map design. You can either fight through the Banshees and get gold, or you can go through the barracks, which takes a long time, which no one ever does. I don't know anyone that ever fights over the fucking the right tower. I used to do it because I couldn't get through the fucking Banshees. Herod and Inquisitor Whitemane. The Herod fight is pretty cool. Like, it's cool. I think it can be better. Do you remember in the fight with Herod? Remember when you kill him, all those squires and all those fucking peasants and shit, pretty much, they rush inside to beat the shit out of you. Why can't the same thing happen here? Why can't, if Herod gets to 50%, he stuns everyone, or maybe say Blades of Light and fucking rips everyone in one shot, and then a whole bunch of shitty minions flood the field, and you gotta fight your way back to him. Why can't we just have that, at least, if he's not a hard boss? I don't understand why we can't have that, instead of him just like... The spin is fine, but I think it can just be better. Inquisitor Whitemane, like I said, this is a great fight. This is a really cool mechanic. But I reckon they should just copy what SM Cath was like. Fight Morgraine first, kill him, fight Whitemane, she bubbles, she resurrects Morgraine, now you fight them together. Like, I don't see why they can't do that. Instead of, like... It's meant to be a hard mission, why can't they just do that shit? I don't know. And all the monks come out of nowhere to try and fucking heal and fight and shit like that. Or maybe heal. Constantly heal. So you gotta kill the monks and make sure they don't fucking heal the 2 bosses. While Whitemane's trying to heal fucking Morgraine. Like, I don't see why they can't do shit like that. But overall, Lordaeron is fairly decent. Lordaeron's fairly decent. Plague Lands, I love every boss fight. I love every boss fight except for Baron. Tyrion Ford Ring is interesting because you're using spells to summon skeletons and shit like that. Like it's an interesting fight. It's a good introduction. That should technically be first. He should just be the first one they fight because, in my opinion, Gish, Araj, and Ramstein are hard. They're hard boss fights. Ramstein not so much anymore. But I do think Gish and Araj the Summoner are definitely harder fights than these two. Like Baron is definitely the easiest fucking fight for the reasons that we talked about earlier. What's this? Hinterlands. Okay. Interesting fight, the Reek. Interesting fight. He's like 90% immune to like most damage in magic. You just gotta feed minions into it. I don't like, that's a pretty cool one. Vile Branch Hex is tedious and fucking annoying. I think they need to fix this one. Like, tedious, fucking annoying. So what she does, she literally throws like a single target Shadow Bolt. Not too weak. It does a fair amount of damage, but it is fucking... But she attacks like more than 2/3 of the map away. It's dumb. Dumb fight. It's tedious. Tedious and dumb. Grimungus... fairly decent design. You're just rolling boulders down to hit the towers you're trying to get to him. Like, you know, he's very easy if you have Unbound, which renders the whole fight useless. Like, there's no the designers of the map never think about Unbound. They never think about Unbound, and then people just spam Unbound it, and then he like, yeah, he can smash everyone at AOE, but all you do is literally summon the cool ball on one side. Summon all your fuckheads on the other side. And then that's the boss fight for people who play Unbound. It's fucking dumb. Elder Tauntusk, interesting, tedious. Interesting, tedious. It's just not executed well. Falstad, I didn't have a problem with Falstad when I first played. I didn't think he was hard. He felt like every other boss fight. He just flies in a figure 8 and he's fucking annoying. And he does chain lightning. Annoying, tedious. Fucking tedious fight. Terrible. They need to make it more interesting. Now we get Blackrock Mountain. Oof. Volcan, very basic. I don't mind him being basic because everyone else is so different from each other. Everyone else is so fucking different. Omnitron, a cool fucking fight. Fighting 4 Omnitrons. When I first did this, I thought, oh, it's 2 at the same time, we gotta beat the fuck out of him. Then all of a sudden another one spawns, Like, oh shit, there's 4 of them? Pretty cool fight. That one's a good one. I don't mind that one. Emperor Thorison, a fucking tough fight, but awesome. Every time I play in questing Emperor Thorison, it definitely reminds me of Blackrock Depths, BRD. It reminds me so much of BRD and how fucking annoying that hole is when you're trying to get the flames. Oof, this fight reminds me of it so much, and that's a good thing. Rend is much more tougher than General Drakensaf. I don't know, like, I understand why Drak is the last boss, because he is the last boss of the dungeon. Not BRD, but I think it was Ubers. Ubers or Lower Blackrock? Lower Blackrock. I think Drakenseth is he the Lower Blackrock? Oh no, upper. Who's in lower? Who's the last boss in Lower Blackrock? Wormthalac. Here's the thing. Upper Spire. Here's the thing. I would get rid of Rend and General Drakenseth here, and I would replace them with Lower Blackrock bosses. Because I would technically want Ubers to be the first raid. Because it is considered a raid. Like, deep down, I want Ubers to be the first raid. And then, because Rend is a hard fight. In this, Rend is actually fucking hard. I don't mind Rend's fight in this one compared to classic WoW. Rend is a unique fight and it's fucking hard. You feel like you're defending. Like, you actually feel like you're defending because you're getting attacked from all angles. General Drakensaf is a plain fight, where he's severely overpowered in right-click damage or auto attack damage, and there's just two like we talked about this before. Like there's a way to make him better. Because in classic WoW he's generic too. All he does is like a lot of crushing blows. He does a lot of crushing blows, and he is pretty fucking annoying. But other than that, yeah, these two need to be removed from Blackrock Mountain, and it needs to be they need to be replaced by the lower Blackrock minions. So Overlord Wormthalak, LBRS. What's another boss they can add in? Like literally, what's another boss they can just add in? I'll have a quick look at the boss list. Ooh, that spider can be bullshit too. They have that spider. Oh, the wolf one? Ooh, the wolf one wouldn't be too bad on here. Either between the... Where is it? Boss fight. Halcyon. Quartermaster. Nah, Halcyon. Halcyon is the dog. Grizzle is also the dog as well, but that's like, you know, summon him. Yeah, Overlord Wormthalak would be a decent one. Cleave, Demoralizing, Shout, Sweeping, Slam. It'll be sort of like an easy version of Drak. Because if you push Drak to Ubers, their own raid, you can make that fight fucking much more tougher. I think the first raid will be Molten Core. I think it is. I think it is, because like we all saw, like, they removed the shit for PvP. As we used to get the world map, we used to get like the world of Azeroth, and in the middle we saw Molten Core. Well, we saw the summoning area, like, you know, the summoning stone being in the middle of Molten Core, middle of Blackrock. So most likely, when I first thought about it, it was going to be MC, but there's a way to literally take these two out and become its own raid, and become Ubers should be the first raid. I would honestly recommend Ubers be a 2-man co-op raid, and then have MC as a 3-man co-op raid. You know what I mean? Like, that would be much better. Like, that would be much better. I think raids should only ever have 2-3 players at most. I don't think 4 players, it would just be too laggy. I can imagine how many people would just fucking suffer from lag. I'm trying to think. Okay, we haven't even finished. We've got to do Kalimdor. Have no idea what Moonblade is going to be. Start off with Darkshore. All these fights are fucking shit and annoying. Every fucking one of them. Lunaclaw, terrible. I showed you guys why. That fucking Moonfire spam is bullshit. The map design's terrible, because you got a fucking bridge standing right in front of you. Murk Deep, fucking annoying too. That little fucking annoying fucking Murloc. Just fighting your way to get to these fuckers. You're constantly fighting to get to them, and the bosses aren't even interesting enough to fucking give a shit about. Oh man, I would love to do a co-op raiding real time with guildies. Yeah, like, what was it? Like, it should be. It should be raiding. When people think of raiding, they think of their guild. They think of the players that they're teaming up with and shit like that. What's this fight? This fight. Look at this H design map. Tower in the middle, just to be fucking annoying, inconvenient. I hate the design of the map. I honestly do. I honestly fucking hate the design of the map. It's a giant A. See? It's a giant A. A for asshole map. What a fucking annoying looking map. It's there to piss you off. It is 100% there just to piss you off. The tower's in reach, but, you know, it's a bridge. Unbound spam, anyone? Lunaclaw, annoying. Honor. Here's the thing. Ancients of War summon units as they approach your base. I've never seen this. I've never seen that happen. I see the Ancients of War marching, and I never see units spawn out from them. I never do. If anything, they should summon Treants. I don't fucking know. Like, it's annoying. This map is fucking dog shit. It's another one of those designs too of the map where you're just inconveniently running around. doing like a zigzag just to get to the boss. It's so boring. It felt like a copy and paste of the other one, with the Agatha one, throwing the vials everywhere with the 3 summoning stones. It looks almost exactly the same. In fact, it is the exact same. Remember? You got a summoning stone there, summoning stone there, summoning stone here. I hate looking at this map. I fucking hate it. It's an angry face. Just 2 eyes, a fucking big ass forehead. It's got dimples. You know, a few pimples popping out on the side, you know, and some large fucking stroke of hair. I honestly read, like, yeah, it's 100% an angry face. Whoever designed it knew it was gonna be shit. And just said, oh, fuck it, this is the map. I'll take the other map, change it a little bit, add the tower in the middle, and now that's the map. It's Agatha map 2.0. And I hate this design. I hate it. Oh my god, I hate the design. I hate the design. It's so fucking trash and boring. There's nothing unique of this boss. Look at this. Calls for Ancients of War. Why can't they just summon out of them? You know, if an Ancient of War digs in, I'm pretty sure they just become a barracks. Like, why can't they just... When I read it, it's misleading. Every time I read it, it's so misleading. I honestly thought tonight I'll be able to talk about a lot more shit, but my god, this went forever. Just talking about fixes, like, and just talking about all this shit. Shadow Claw is fucking annoying too. Or not annoying, just inconvenient. Spanner, thanks for the sub, man. You didn't have to sub, man. These days I'm not looking for subs. I'm definitely looking for followers though. Not the subs and all that. But like, but thanks anyways, man. But what do you expect? You are really critical to all maps. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is though, because the designs are so alike of each other, it got to a point where, because these are new maps, all these new maps, it's like they ran out of ideas for maps. And they're creating the most generic and annoying maps possible. Just out of the fact that they haven't done it yet. Like that's literally what it feels like. Like, and the way to get around poor map design is having better boss fights. If you have better boss fights, you don't have to worry so much about the fucking boss. Like, you know. Oh, sorry, if you have better boss fights, you don't have to really worry about the map, sorry. Shadow Claw, he just goes in a fucking circle and beat the shit out of him. It's very generic. Lady Vespera, we talked about that, how he can change. It's not a good fight at all. Winter Spring. Azurus is an interesting fight. I consider this one a gauntlet. Your passion for the game is amazing. I am humbled to sub, is Lisa. Thanks, man. I just want... Out of all the betas and alphas I've done for Blizzard, I feel like they've at least listened to a few things. And the only way that... Like... Obviously, I don't talk on behalf of all players of the game, because let's face it, not many people have actually played the game yet. But when you watch other people play, sometimes it gives like a good impression, sometimes it gives a bad impression. People say it's bad because of X reason, people say it's good for X reason, you know? Like, for me, it's about, you know, painting a picture. You need to get all aspects of the story. For someone that thinks something is bad with them, I might think it's good, and vice versa, you know? Like, for me, this perspective, I feel like, can make the game much more enjoyable. Because you think about Warcraft 3 and a lot of custom maps and shit like that. You know, 3 corridors, tree tag, what was another one? Dragon Ball Z, Tribute, Dota, obviously that came from it. What else is there? Footmen Frenzy was another one. That's a fucking great game, Footmen Frenzy. Alliance vs Horde, Grunts vs was it Grunts vs. Footmen, or was Grunts vs. something like that. I can't remember what the fuck it was. You see what I mean? Like, you know, what's the other one? Oh, what's that fucking funny one? Slide Ninja Slide. That, yeah, that's a fucking funny one. That one's a cool one. Like, you think about all these custom games, you know? And that's within WoW, within Warcraft 3. So when we look at Arclight Rumble, because it has so many aspects to the game, you want them to be able to go, okay, I'm sick of PvE, I want to go to PvP. Oh, I'm sick about, well, you know, I want to try something different, you know? How about a tower defense version of this? You know, can we have a Mount Hyjal in this, you know? Where inevitably we will lose. It's about how long can we last before, you know, and then have that as a fucking leaderboard. Like, I don't understand, you know, like, they did say, oh, this is a tower offense game, but why can't you have at least one tower defense map, Mount Hyjal? What's another one? The Dark Portal. You know, you can have Dark Portal as a fucking, you know, tower defense in this one, technically. Like, I just don't see why they can't have it all. You can have it all, you know, just have it all. Don't just limit yourself to one thing, you know? Or two things. Winter Spring. Ursius is... It's an okay fight. The map design is okay. Ursius, there's nothing much to say about him. Kashok this is a cool fight. This is an interesting fight. The only reason why it's interesting is because of the mechanics that's happening on the map. You're fighting through the map to get to the boss. The boss himself is very easy. That's the sad part. That's the sad part, man. And that's what I'm talking about, man. I want to fight bosses. I don't want to fight minions. The map mechanics is great. I don't mind going through. It adds a dynamic to the fight, but yeah, it's annoying. Shira Tam is an interesting one as well. Like, the map design's okay, the fight's okay. I think it's generally good. Azurus, like I said, crazy fight. This one's a good one. I really like this one because it's a gauntlet. Like I said, it's like a gauntlet. General Kolbatan, nothing like the others. Apart from it feels like it is Ursius. It feels like it's almost Ursius. Yeah, some maps your defense is key. Exactly. Yeah, like Rend. Rend is a prime example of defending, and that's good. I don't think there's gonna be one person at all that's played the game that will say that Rend fight in this game is bad. Everyone is gonna love that fucking fight because it's fucking tough. It's tough. You feel like the man every time you fucking win. When you win, you're like, fuck this motherfucker. Fuck Rend. You know, it makes you do like what I did. Punch my fucking chair. It was great. It was a great time. Memorable. General Kolbatan, not memorable. Sadly. Boring fucking fight. Boring. Better to have interesting boss mechanics than face the same Huntress, Stonehoof. Yeah, exactly. How many more times am I gonna face the Spiderlings, Vultures, Chickens, Huntresses, Firehammer, Flamewaker? How many times do I have to fight them? They're the most common fucking units in all the boss fights. If you noticed, every single fight is a combination of Direwolf or, you know, Alpha Wolf. Look at this. I'll show you what's the most common fucking cunts that you see all the time. Griffin, you see him a lot. You see this fuckhead 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 sometimes. You see Necromancers a lot. You see fucking you see this fuckhead a lot. You see Ghouls a lot. You see the Huntress. Probably 80% of the maps you see the Huntress. You see this fuckhead a lot. You see this fuckhead a lot. You see this fuckhead a lot. You see this motherfucker just like the Huntresses. You see this fuckhead a lot. Who else is that? You see this fucking bitch a lot. You see these fuckers a lot. Right. You just see these same fucking units all the time. And it's for everyone. It's almost for everyone. It's tedious. It's shit. It's tedious. No one wants to fucking do that. No one wants to see this shit all the time. Yeah, constantly fighting Huntresses and Gargoyles is fucking boring and it's annoying. Let's look at Orgrimmar. Gazlowe. Interesting fight. I don't mind Gazlowe because Gazlowe shows a different fucking mechanic, which is the towers are shooting rockets, which is great. The boss himself, very plain and simple. Chalga. I would like to say it's an interesting fight because of the root mechanic, but other than that, I think it's generic. Because she doesn't really do anything. She just sits there and just roots people down. So you just gotta fight with air units and range. Introduction to poison. It's okay, I guess. Hezral Bloodmark, one of the best fucking fights in the game. One of the best. Whoever designed Hezral Bloodmark should fucking get a medal. This one's one of the best fights in the game. What time is it? 3:13. I'll probably end the stream soon in 10 minutes, guys, and then I'll be back on Wednesday. We didn't really play much, but like I said, today will be more about discussion, talking about the game, review a little bit. I consider Hezral Bloodmark one of the top 5, and we will go through a top 5 before I leave. Grom Hellscream, boring, tedious, dumb. We're not really fighting him. We're just fucking. We're just charging towards him. And we're fighting, you know, the Warsong Raiders and all that. Like, yeah, it's just, it's annoying. It's boring. Sad to say, it's boring. Draka, boring fight, generic. I can understand why. Tidris, very cool fight. This is a cool fight. This is a cool mechanic, cool fight. There's 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2, and that's it. Like, Tidris is one of the best ones. Branch Snapper. Oh, this fuckhead, boring. Yeah, tedious and annoying. Maeve Shadowsong. You would think a fight against Maeve Shadowsong would be one of the best things you ever happen to you, but no, it's one of the most boring fucking fights. Renee Wolfrunner, annoying. It's hard. It is definitely a hard mission, but it is fucking annoying. It's only hard because the first 10 seconds of the fight matter. You need to be able to defend. If you can't defend, you're an idiot. Pretty much. That's what it makes you feel like. What's next? Dustwellow Marsh. Jaina Proudmoore, interesting fight. I think it could be better. Brood Queen. Oh my god, this is a tough fight. It's a gauntlet. I consider fights like Brood Queen a gauntlet match. If you can get to her and beat her, that's great. Trying to get to her though is a fucking mission, which I don't mind. I don't mind if some maps are like gauntlets. You just gotta go through units. I don't mind that. Tabitha, straightforward. You can easily just cheese it, and it's pretty boring. The mechanics are in there that make it a really cool fight, but here's the thing that you guys don't know is that, or maybe you do know, the Tabitha fight is the same fight as the Crystal Shaper. It's just a different format. But it's the exact same fight. Goreclaw, generic, boring. Ember Strife is it's alright. Ember Strife is alright. It is definitely a hard mission. I just think it could be better. I can think it's just tedious to fight minions coming out 2 fucking cave holes. Ember Strife. Yeah, Dustwellow Marsh is like in the middle of the road area. Tyrant, tedious. If you survive the first 15 seconds, you're okay, I guess. This one's a cool fight. Tag team duos are a fucking cool fight. I reckon this one's one of the cool fights as well. I know that it might sound that Geno is being negative, but he's really not. He just wants the game to reach its potential. I agree with most of what he says. Yeah, like, the potential's there. It's up to the dev team to do it. You know, I can only ever talk about, as a person that's giving feedback to the game, you know, if it's up to them whether they take it or not. They don't need to. But this is what I see, like, to keep me invested as a player. The only thing in the end that will keep me invested as a player is PvP. And there's only so much PvP you can do. You know what I mean? Like the concept of raiding is what I want as well. Like, just like you have to think about it as Warcraft 3 and Classic WoW at the same time. This game is like a combination of both, and it has the potential to be great as both games are. That's the thing. You don't want this to fall apart, and the only way this can fall apart is by being lazy with the bosses, being lazy with the maps, and not figuring out fucking balances in PvP, which we'll get on Wednesday. If you can't figure that out, there's no point having PvP, because everyone's gonna have the same fucking generic ass build. Not we won't be generic. Everyone will have the same build, and everyone's gonna fucking cry and whinge and shit like that. But then they'll say, "Oh, it's meta." It's not meta. It's dumb. Who the fuck wants to have a mirror match? Who the fuck wants to have a mirror match every fucking PvP? So like, oh my god. Because if that was the case, then Dota and League of Legends and everything like that, you'll be fighting the exact same lineup if you had the choice. Everyone will pick the same fucking hero and just fight. Come on. Get out of meta bullshit. No such thing. You either have a strategy or you don't. A meta is an excuse for poor design. It's the meta, that's what everyone plays. Yeah, because if everyone's playing those fucking heroes, that means every other hero is redundant. Why play them? Which, guess what? It fucks the rest of the game up. Some of these bosses are meant for fucking certain fucking heroes that can do it easier, and now we're never going to play them because everyone's going to follow a meta? Fuck off with that bullshit. Fuck, that means they're just going to change the design of all the bosses to fit 3 heroes. Get the fuck out of here. Like, nearly every one of these bosses can be defeated easily, when they shouldn't be, by unbound units. Guess what's going to happen in PvP? It's unbound units. That's the number one problem right now. See, if you can't solve that problem, there's no, like... It's like building a bridge, right? It's like building a 3-kilometer bridge, and someone comes... some scientist comes along one day and says, "Oh, I got a teleporter." And you look at this fuckhead, and you spent 1 year building this fucking bridge, and you look at this fuckhead that come out of nowhere. He goes, "Oh, I got a teleporter. You can just teleport to the other side of the bridge." And you look at this cunt, and you go, "Well, why didn't you fucking tell us this beforehand, huh? Why didn't you tell us this 1 year? We just wasted time building this fucking bridge for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You came out of nowhere with a fucking teleporter. Now I want to fucking kill you." Like, that's what it feels like. That's what unbound units feel like. That's what it feels like. Trust me. Trust me on this one. Every unbound unit player right now, if they've never played anything but unbound, they have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, because they haven't built a fucking bridge in their life. What else is there? 1,000 Needles. Rock a Limb, interesting. I think it can be better. Grenka. Grenka's a cool fight. This has like, a constant mechanic that goes on, which is great. Magatha, plain and simple, boring. Calm Bloodhoof, plain. It's not a hard mission. Calm Bloodhoof is so boring and tedious. It's boring and tedious. Boring and tedious. Why are we not utilizing these planes running or resurrection, or like, why are we not utilizing that? I don't know, man. I have no idea. Rock and Limb annoying. Which one's this one? This one's a cool fight. I don't mind this one. Nashala, the Sandweaver. This is a really cool mechanic. The mirror image mechanic. It's pretty cool. I reckon it's not bad. Yeah, everyone else is fucking hideous. Now, obviously, Onyxia. Now, I have played Onyxia. I haven't been Onyxia, but I have watched the entire fight. On many different levels, people failing and people succeeding. Barely succeeding too, by the way. I think Onyxia is a cool fight. I don't think it needs to change much. It's a cool fight. It's just straight up cool. Like, I would rather fight Onyxia like 1,000 times than fight some of these bosses at all. And guess what? I would rather do the same thing in Classic WoW every fucking Wednesday. And pick up my fucking loot. That's what it feels like. These fuckers don't feel like that at all. Now, dungeons. We'll quickly talk about dungeons. What time is it? 11:30. Okay, like, probably 10 more minutes. Right now, Dire Maul is the best dungeon. Hands down the best dungeon. None of the boss fights feel bad at all. You can watch my previous streams for Dire Maul. The final boss feels fucking awesome. He's so fucking tough now. You gotta kill the fucking healer and shit at the back. It feels like you're fighting. It feels like you're fighting the boss. It really does. It really feels like you're fighting the boss. Barely any minions spawn. You're constantly fighting him. The second boss in Dire Maul as well is pretty. The second boss in Dire Maul is pretty fun too. Actually, when I think about it, the second boss in Dire Maul, all these like Eye of Kilrog type things spawn when you get the units. Like yeah, and they detonate after it, after your units and shit like that spawn. Interesting fight, cool, but you know. I wouldn't change it. I don't think I would change it. Dire Maul. The first boss in Dire Maul is fucking cool too. You're 80%, everyone becomes sort of confused and enraged and they all start hitting each other. Yeah, well, the enemy minions, not yours. But that also forces the boss to hit his own minions. That's cool. That's cool. See, that's cool. There's no phases, just that. Like, that's fine. Like, that's all fine. Black Fathom Depths. BFD only has one bad boss fight, and it's the second boss fight, which is the acid elemental fucking thing. And that's dog shit. That fight is tedious dog shit. It's unfair. The map design is fucking terrible. The boss himself is fucking terrible. You just can't get near him properly. It's and by the time you get near him, you might be on 2 times gold already. Like, you'll be on 2 times gold, and you'll be fucking suffering to try and kill him in 1 minute. Akrumai is one of the best fights in the game. Akrumai, there's 2 phases to him, and it's fucking awesome. Each head individually, and then second phase is each head individually, but together. Technically next to each other, so... But yeah, like, it's pretty cool. Akrumai definitely does not look like the original BFD fight, but it is pretty cool. Like, just fighting a Hydra in 2 phases. The Murloc is just standard, introductory. Then we got fucking Dead Mines. Then we have Dead Mines. Every boss fight in Dead Mines is dog shit, except for the second boss. The second boss is just tedious, if anything, because it's such a long map. Like, it's such a long way to get to the boss. You can unbound, spam on him, but you just gotta be sure you got spells to kill the mobs that come out the left, mobs coming out the right. It's just waves of mobs. Wave 1, 2, 1, 2, constantly, and it's okay, it's not good. That's the only good fight out of BFD. Oh, sorry, out of Dead Mines. Other than that, the first boss in Dead Mines is one of the worst fights in the entire game. Mr. Smite. You can barely reach Mr. Smite unless you got Unbound, and this is what I'm talking about. Unbound is not fair. Unbound is bullshit. They need to figure out a way how to fix it. I don't mind it in PvE to be an advantage in PvE because that doesn't affect me. But in PvP, it affects a lot of people in PvP because you're trained to just spam on the boss or on the barracks. You're barely ever going to defend as an Unbound spammer. Because that's the meta. You know, like, fucking gee, what a joke. What's the other one? Oh god, Sneed. The only thing that makes Sneed a bad fight is the map. Is the map design. Those 2 platforms. I don't know why they have to be a fucking giant square. Why can't they be just like this? A skinny rectangular fucking thing. Because do you know how long it takes for one of your fucking units to walk through? 1,000,000 fucking years, and you better hope it's Kobold. Or an easy fucking unit to kill. Because sometimes you might end up having fights on top of the platform, on top of the fucking switches. And you better hope it's a weak unit going through, because if it's not a weak unit, you're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. 5 Frostwolf Shamans, you're dead. 5 Direwolves is doable, but you most likely will probably be dead. 5 Gargoyles, doable, but you might, like, you know, I think the worst thing to ever happen to you is the 5 Frostwolf Shamans. That's the worst thing that ever happens to you, because they all constantly heal each other. And you can hardly kill them. Yeah, I don't know. 4 Molten Giants against me, not fun. Yeah, the Molten Giants are bullshit too, like... You're constantly fighting the map than you are fighting Sneed. You're just hoping that you're hitting Sneed. than you are fucking. You just hope you get one unit hitting that fucker. It's annoying. It's one of the worst fucking it is the worst dungeon in this game. Like, what makes this Mr. Smite fight stupid as well is the stealth mini. The two Defiance bandits on the middle of the bridge. Inconvenient, annoying, dumb. The fucking Stonehoof Tauren has nothing to do with Dead Mines. Stonehoof Tauren has nothing to do with Dead Mines. I can keep saying it. Is coming down a pipeline while stealthed to fuck you. Why can't it just be the rogues? I don't mind if they increase the amount of rogues coming through. Or, sorry, Defiance bandits coming down the pipeline, but not the fucking Stonehoof Tauren. Because we're constantly fighting the fucking spiders, constantly fighting the fucking mountaineers, constantly fighting Darkspear Troll, the wolf. They're so cheap, those units, except for the mountaineer. Oh my god, we have no time to get out of the base. We have no time to move out of the base, and then after that, chain lightning we gotta come across. So we can't spam units or else we get chain lightning. It's the worst. You can't get near Mr. Smite. Dire Maul. It is the worst but interesting. Yeah, the Sneed fight is an interesting concept. This Mr. Smite fight is the worst design overall. Because nothing's good for Mr. Smite. Nothing is good about it. Dire Maul, third boss. BFD, third boss. Dire Maul, first, and these three are my favorites. I don't know how you can like the. Oh yeah, Dire Maul. I thought you said Dead Mines the first boss. Yeah, literally. Akurumai, and like honestly, I don't understand how those dungeons can be good and everything else can be so fucking shit. The rest of the 6 dungeon bosses are spam fest, and yeah, exactly. BFD third boss is the 3 drakes. Yeah, I love that fight. Yeah. Black Fathom Depths is Akurumai. It's a Hydra. It's one of the best fights in the game. It's literally one of the best fights. That being said, let's talk about top 10. Oh, sorry, top 5. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is just before I go, because I have been streaming for a while, and I'll probably stream again somewhere else. Let's start with 5. Number 5, I think. Let's have a look here. What would I? This will be including dungeons as well, I guess. One of the top fights. I think Devilsaur Queen. Yeah. Devilsaur Queen is an interesting one. That's probably one of the best ones. Because you have this impending doom. It's a race against time. There's an impending doom. And it's cool. Like you really think there's so many phases to it. Well, so many as in like you know, it's a gauntlet plus race against time. It's perfect. You know? And I'll write these down. Race against time. So we'll call it Rat. Rat is race against time. Gauntlet, we understand what Gauntlet means. Gauntlet is we're fighting through massive amounts of mobs to get to a certain location. That is not it's just a straight line. Then when we get there, it's a boss battle. It's a constant boss battle. Devilsaur Queen is a gauntlet and race against time at the same time. It's one of the best fights that you ever have. Same thing again. His rule. This could change. I'll see, but right now I'll just put down his rule Bloodmark. This is the same thing. Gauntlet plus race against time. Because once you kill the other one, like it's race against. You know, you don't want to fucking get murdered. Terrible. Tityrus is not really up there. Interesting, but it's not really up there though, I think. Azurus, not really. By the way, this top 5 is my top 5. It is obviously going to be different to a lot of people. Inquisitor Whitemane, this is a good one. Whoops, White Mane. Inquisitor White Mane is one of the best fights. Like, you know, it's memorable. So what this is, it's a this type of fight is not a gauntlet. It's like a semi-gauntlet. It's like a semi-gauntlet plus tag team boss. Like, because there's two different mechanics for the bosses. Like like Inquisitor White Mane is definitely fucking interesting, and I think it's really up there. It's a fun. Every time I see it, I love doing the fight. I love doing the questing for it. Like, I think it's really cool. Actually, we'll do top 5. This will be campaign. I'll do top 5 everything else. Call it raid because we know what it's going to be anyways. Inquisitor White Mane's up there. Number 2. Ooh. This is a hard one. For number 2, I would actually say it'll be Abercrombie. Only because when you play this once you've beaten the campaign, when you're doing questing, nothing has really changed to this fight when you did it the first time around, except it's fucking hard. Like, it eventually does become a hard mission. Do you know how hard it is to kill that fucking abomination? Or if not, try and get to Abercrombie after that. The more high level you get, you suffer. And this is outside of the campaign. This is also questing, you know. Abercrombie's a fucking different, really fucking good. And obviously the number 1 is Rend. Rend fight is probably the best fight in the entire game. Like, for a campaign. Like, when you get to this fight, this is one of the best ones. The reason why I didn't put Omnitron in there and Emperor Thorson and shit like that is because when you really look at this one, so this one is just a gauntlet. It's really a gauntlet, that's it. Because you constantly have to fight the Rend is tower defense, really. Tower defense, which also leads into like a semi-rat. Because once he does get off his dragon and shit like that, it is a race against time. Yeah, right now Rend is definitely, and look at it, like, because for me, this is what I like seeing, and like when I categorize the fights on how the way they go, most of them are gauntlets. Gauntlets are fun. Gauntlets are fun because once you do get to the boss, whether it's race against time or a tag team boss, they're fun. It's fun, you know. Everything else is tedious. Like, what I don't consider as a gauntlet is when you get to the boss and all the boss does is spam fucking 10 gold of units on top of you. It's taken a million years to kill them. It's either you're taking a million years to kill the mobs because the boss is also eating your asshole at the same time, or you lose all your mobs and now you have to defend again. You know, gauntlet, what I mean by gauntlet is by 1 or 2 cycles getting to the boss and fighting the boss and killing him. That's what I consider as a gauntlet, not get to the boss, die, come back, get to the boss, die, come back. Like, oh fuck, it gets so fucking annoying. Dungeons and raids bosses. I would have to say number 5, because there's not many. I would have to say I can't remember the names I literally cannot remember the names of the boss fights, but we'll just go by their titles. I like the position. Sorry. So in Diamond, it's second boss. That one's not too bad. Then we go to Diamond. Here, this would be Diamond first boss. This one would be BFD. Wait, would this be BFD? You know what? Actually, these are gonna move up. These are gonna move up because this one down here would literally be Deadmine's second, or Cookie, I guess. Cookie's not too bad. I don't mind Cookie. This one is obviously Akromai from BFD, and the first one is the Diamond third boss. Like literally, that's literally how I see it in terms of the best fights, the most enjoyable and best fights and shit like that. Soul Reaver, BFD first boss. Black Fathom Depth's first boss is generic. I feel like it's generic. One is Oni, and two. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, everything. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, sorry. Technically, this is how it goes. Technically, this is how it really goes. It's Oni. Sorry, my bad. I forgot I put raid in there. Yeah, this is me. This is how I like. The reason why I like the third boss in Diamond is because the fucking balancing beam that you got to do, and getting the right timing for everything to happen, plus killing the healer and just getting everything to work. Akromai is race against time, so this is 100% race against time. If you can't do it, it's race against time. Diamond's second boss is Gauntlet. That's a straight up Gauntlet. Diamond first boss, that's a Gauntlet. Rat. This is a semi-gauntlet. Semi-gauntlet duo boss, tag team. Then Onyxia is obviously a fucking gauntlet. Gauntlet multi-phase. Did you see my comment about unbounds up there? Where is it? Do you know what I have noticed in all your favorite fights? It's not easy to do them spamming unbounds. Coincident? Yeah, let's think about it. Yeah, you can't just spam unbounds on Rand. Abercrombie, you can spam quite a bit on Abercrombie, but he does take he does smash quite a bit of units. In Crystal Whitemane, you can unbound, but you gotta unbound it too at the same time. Hezril Bloodmark, you can't unbound, because all his minions will fucking just eat you. Devilsaur Queen, you can unbound, but it's one-shot kills. Onyxia, you can try, but I'm pretty sure you should die anyways. Diamond third boss, you have to taunt, you technically have to taunt the main boss to do it. You can do it, but you just gotta taunt him off so you can kill the healer. Akromai, no such thing as unbounding on Akromai. There's no such thing. It can help, but it ain't gonna work on Akromai. Then obviously the first boss you can unbound. You just gotta unbound and hit the minions, not the boss. Diamond second boss, you can unbound here and there. I don't like number 5 because it sends too many units where end up taking a from the eyes. Yes, like that's the eye fight. The reason why I like that fight, because what that does for me, it teaches timing. It makes you think about timing, when to drop units down. Because what those eyes replicate is Blizzard, Chain Lightning, Arcane Blast. It replicates it. It replicates it in a way. So you sort of want to move your minions sort of far. It teaches you where to place minions. You know, like that's how I feel with the Diamond second boss. But that's literally, I guess, everything for today.